in, that means you're feeling the vibe. The bell rung, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live. Right now. Please pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope Soul Sporting with the talk. First lady from New York, Brooklyn. All my people, you rocking with the chat. Hit that. The like button would tell me where you at. You know, step from the MBK. Born and raised up MBK. Hey, real lady, where she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
What?
Dope Soul.
What?
Your soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Salute, Knick family. Welcome to the Just Knickin' It Weekly Show. I'm your host, Stephanie, a.k.a. Queen. We got a lot to talk about. Mitchell Robinson, presumably out for the rest of the season. We'll talk about what that means for the Knicks. I mean, at least we were already playing without him, so it's not a bigger blow as it could have been, but still, I think, you know, it can change some things for us. So we'll talk about him. We'll talk about Randle, who's playing incredible as of late. Not new, though, right? Randle has had these stretches before, so I don't think, you know, we're surprised. We'll talk about Taj Gibson, whether or not he can hold up. We'll talk about the, I wouldn't say controversy, but the back and forth between Becky Hammon, the coach of the Las Vegas Aces of the WNBA, and Kendrick Perkins, ESPN analyst, about whether or not you can win with a small player as your best player. All right, let me bring in Jerrell, Geoff, and we're gonna open the phone line soon during the show, if I don't forget. How are we doing, fellas?
Awesome.
Hey,
you look a lot like Christmas.
Yes. Happy holidays, by the way. Happy holidays to you too. Happy holidays to the chat.
Yep, salute to the chat. Happy holidays. It's Thursday, so you already know what it is.
Yeah. You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's start right off the bat with Mitchell Robinson. We knew he broke his ankle, he had surgery, he would be out 8 to 10 weeks. We got news today through Shams Charania, I hope I said that right, that the Knicks applied for a disabled players exception, and you can only do that if you believe that the player won't return this season. And now the NBA has to do their due diligence on whether to grant it or not. But just what's your overall thoughts after hearing that, Jerrell and then Geoff?
It's obviously a big blow, maybe because it's so early into the season. So we're missing Mitch for pretty much the entire year, other than 25, 30 games. So, yeah, it's a big blow, but I have faith in iHeart. Mitch goes down often, and the times that he has gone down, I wouldn't say the production has gone down that much when it comes in terms of rebounding, but Mitch is Mitch. Mitch, iHeart isn't the rim protector that Mitch is. He isn't the defender, period, that Mitch is. But, he brings his own set of skills to the table. So I don't think we'll miss much when it comes to Mitch as a whole. But, he's obviously a better rebounder, but iHeart is good at that category as well. He has a little bit more skill than Mitch, but Mitch is Mitch. As much as I have talked negatively about Mitch, I still think that he's one of the best defending centers in this league. So, yeah, we have to see. We already had the Sims conversation last week. So since he's been hurt, I don't know where we're going to go. We're going to keep with Taj, or, earlier in your show, earlier today, you was talking about what his replacement would be. But yeah, obviously Mitch is a big blow, but as long as Isaiah Hartenstein stays healthy, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, I think Sims was watching that show, or I was talking about this with Geoff prior. I'm like, he lost a little confidence after the show. And I think I lost a little confidence too, because I was watching him. I was like, yo, Jeff is, I thought, Jerrell, I thought he was going a little strong. Then I watched him. I said, you know what? I think he's right. Then he got slammed on. Then I was like, come on, Sims, come on.
Yeah. So, but I'm the type of person, I don't wish injury on anybody. I said that, I didn't think he should be on the team. I think we should, get somebody a better replacement for him, but I didn't want it this way though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, hopefully he has a full recovery, but we definitely do need another body. I don't trust Taj Gibson to last the rest of the season. Like, I trust him in spot minutes and being situational, maybe like how Sims was before the injury, but yeah, we need another body.
Right. No doubt. Jeff, your thoughts on after hearing the news that, more than likely
My
Mitch is
heart
out.
breaks for Mitch, because here's a guy who worked his rear end off in the summer and came in to the season playing the best ball of his life, in great shape. Really looked like he took the momentum from the Cleveland series last year and learned from what he didn't do well in the Miami series, and really worked hard on his game as far as improving the things that he's good at and being better at those things, and really having a positive impact for this team on the floor. And now he's, back at square one again. So my heart just goes out to him, man. I hate to see when these guys work so hard and then you just have it ripped away from you like that on something that you can't control. That's just tough. But as far as the team is concerned, I think we're okay because we're just different. We're not the same team with Mitch out of the lineup, but we're still a very good team because we're able to pivot with what the things that Hartenstein brings to us that are different. And really, from what I've seen with Hartenstein in the starting lineup, that unit is tough to guard. What do you do? They are tough. They are putting up offensive numbers that are insane. Like, how do you guard that lineup? It's incredible. He is with he and DiVincenzo in the starting lineup. This is not the same team that we saw to start the year, for sure. It's completely different, and it poses a lot of difficulties for even good defensive teams. Look at the Lakers, are an excellent defensive team, and we posed big time problems for them. It's really interesting and fascinating to me how it's just a different. It's not the same formula, I don't think, as we went into the season thinking we were going to have, but I don't think it's going to be any less successful. And that comes from someone who's, vice president of the Mitch Robinson fan club. I got to give it to, you got to give staff of the presidency. He's been around longer, so I'll be vice president. But Mitch is my guy. But if iHeart can stay healthy and we can find someone reliable to take those 10 to 12 minutes that he's not on the floor, I think we'll be okay. I do think we have to make a move now, though. I don't think we can just say Taj Gibson is the answer. I like Taj as a player. 5 years ago, especially, like I respect what Gibson does as far as his game goes. I've always been a fan of his in a Knick uniform, but I just don't think he's it anymore. I don't think he has it in him to do the grind that's going to be needed for this team over what we've got so many. We've played 27 games, so you're talking about 55, 56 games plus playoffs at his age and his diminished skill level. I just don't see that. I think we're going to have to, and to be honest, I don't think the answer is on this roster, and I don't think it's in our G League affiliate either. I think we're going to have to find someone who's not in the building right now to help us out, whether that be via trade or just bringing someone in with a free agent or off of waivers, or I'm not sure what the answer is, and I'm not sure that that's going to happen immediately either, because I think that I think Gibson could probably be a Band-Aid for a couple weeks if we needed him to be. It's not ideal, but I think that we could probably live. Again, not ideal, but I think we could probably live with it.
Right.
The other thing is, the whole go small idea is not. I don't like that idea at all. I think that
I agree. Let me ask you this though, to piggyback off of an earlier point you said. What's the ceiling of the team? Like you mentioned that we're playing a little different with Hartenstein and DiVincenzo. It definitely changes changes us offensively, particularly in that starting unit. The last two games, I think our defense has come around. And I think part of it, and I said this in the morning show, is because of Randle's commitment on that end. That has definitely helped us. But is the ceiling on this team the same? Like, do you feel like, oh, we're gonna have to do it differently, but the ceiling is the same? Or do you feel like, I don't know if we can expect to reach whatever number you had or wherever you thought we would finish in the Eastern Conference? Geoff?
I think regular season wise, I think we could still get to 50 wins.
Okay.
Unless the matchup is really good, I'm a little bit concerned about getting out of the first round of the playoffs. Obviously, it's matchup dependent. Matchups are everything, but it's depth. I think some of the weaknesses that iHeart does have on the defensive end would get more exploited in a playoff series than they will during the regular season, just because there's more prep time. You know how that is. There's more prep time. People game plan for you. They figure out how to attack you, and we have, and again, it depends a lot on RJ Barrett, who's been really good the last two games defensively. It depends a lot on Julius Randle, who's done a good job. It almost seems like they were like, oh yeah, we've got to actually try on defense again because Mitch isn't back there to erase as many of our mistakes. And if they take on that challenge and they're serious about that and they play at the level that they're capable of, I think we could be the same. I don't think that's going to be a reality, though, because I don't think that's in the DNA of Randle as a player, and I don't think that's in the DNA of Barrett as a player. But last couple games, I think Barrett had one of his best games of his career against Brooklyn the other night.
I just want to ask a follow-up question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
But are you saying that with our gains on offense, you still think that the absence of Mitch in the playoffs is going to be too much to finish wherever you thought we were going to finish?
I kind of thought
it's okay if you do. I'm just asking for clarity.
I'm just kind of trying to think through what your question, though. I kind of thought that we might be a first round exit team anyway this year. I thought we would win 50 games, but I didn't necessarily think that we were automatic to advance. Like, again, last year, Cleveland was the perfect matchup for us in the playoffs. I don't think we could have asked for a better matchup than that. There's no guarantee that that's going to be the case again. So I wasn't for sure marking us for a return trip to the semifinals anyway. Gotcha. So, I mean, I thought it was possible, but I wasn't like, yeah, for sure, this team, Eastern Conference Finals or whatever. I mean, I think, I've thought since the Harden trade, the top three teams in the East are pretty solid, and they're not us. I think some people would argue that Philly's had a pretty easy schedule so far. And I'm not going to argue with that, but they are taking care of business against that schedule. Their point differential is massively impressive. Let's just put it that way. So, and they've had problems in the postseason too. I get all that, but I didn't think we were a real finals contender anyway. So I certainly think we're less of a finals contender now than we were before.
Okay. Jerrell, your thoughts on? Oh, sorry, sorry about that. Your thoughts on just the ceiling of the team without Mitch? Do you think it's better, worse, or about the same? And I'm gonna open up the phone lines as well. You guys can call in, obviously one at a time. We don't have a hold button, so once somebody is on the line, just wait for them to finish to call in. But
Right.
yeah, the ceiling on this team without. Oh, we'll talk about that, Julian Bloom.
Okay. Well, I think for me, I don't know. I already said that I have faith in iHeart being Mitch's replacement. Like Mitch already had significant time taken away from him last year, and iHeart did it. I think he did a really good job. I think we would just have to be playing differently, if that makes sense. Like we won't be the same team, but we might be just as good. But like you said before, like the defenders and what Geoff said before, the defenders definitely have to be more focused on the perimeter if Mitch isn't out there erasing mistakes. So I don't think iHeart is that type of defender. He will be, just as good a rebounder, I think, as Mitch is. Maybe not on the offensive end, but totally. And, for his right, like iHeart is a good offensive rebounder in his own right. So the ceiling, I kind of agree with Geoff when it comes to like it was going to be like first round exit maybe anyway, depending on the matchup. But yeah, in the regular season, I don't think it'll be that much of a problem at all as long as iHeart stays healthy. But the playoffs is definitely it'll be a problem depending on the matchup.
Yeah. So I consider Geoff and Staff are friends, so I don't know how this is gonna go over, but I think we have the potential to be even better. But we have to
Okay.
do it differently. But we have to do it differently. And my reasoning is there's a lot of teams in the NBA that don't have a Mitch, and they're figuring out ways to make it work. Right? They don't have that defender, back there. And I think I'm encouraged by what I've saw the last two games defensively. Again, if your offense is working, you don't have to be a juggernaut on defense. You just have to be solid and play good team defense and get some, and then turn it up at key times in the game. Remember, the Knicks were the 19th ranked defense going into the playoffs. 17, if you want to talk about when we switched to the 9-man rotation, we were ranked 17 after that. We were the first or second ranked defensive team through 2 rounds of the playoffs. So there's going to be times during the season where you have to, turn it up a little bit. And Mitch had a lot, to do with that. Don't get me wrong. But to see this team on the offensive end look like a modern offensive team, where every player is a threat offensively. I mean, obviously, Isaiah Hartenstein doesn't stretch you out to the 3-point line. So
Mhm.
his guy is still in the key some, but to me, it's still a little different than Mitch. The guy has to play up on Hartenstein a little bit. Then you got DiVincenzo there, who's a capable shooter who can do other things. He can get hot. So even if he's not shooting the ball well or not getting enough shots, whoever's defending him has to respect him. Right. So I think I'm curious to see what our team looks like with a center who's a threat and who can pass the ball and also rebound. But no doubt about it, he's not Mitch as far as interior defense and as far as intimidation. But other teams are making it work without that. And I think the Knicks will have to we'll have to figure that out. I think we do have to get a backup to Hartenstein. I don't think Sims is it, even if he comes back and his ankle is 100%. I don't think he's it. He looked really bad in the Clippers game. And listen, they got 4 Ball of Famers, as somebody said. So they'll make you look bad, but he was clearly overmatched. And I think you have to also factor in with Sims, he played 4 years in college. When somebody plays 4 years in college, you expect them to be a little ahead of, say, somebody who played 1 year in college. Then he has 2 years of NBA experience. This is his 3rd year, if I'm not mistaken. And he looks the same. And he looks the
worse.
same. and in some and in some instances, he looks worse. So I think Sims may be at his ceiling, right? Remember a year or so ago, he was like, well, maybe, but we should have known. He's 4 years in college. He's at his ceiling. He is, he is what he is. He looks the same, as Greg is saying in the chat. Shout out to Greg. And I'm not, hey, that's fine. But he's super I think he's just super situational. And the Knicks have to look into bringing in somebody. I agree with you, Jerrell. I'm not counting on Taj to play 12 to 15 minutes a game for the rest of the season. I mean, come on. He's about what, 39, 49? Like, I think that's too much. I know he ran over the Brooklyn Bridge. I think he said he does that twice a week between the Brooklyn and Manhattan Bridge, twice a week, 6 miles each time. Okay. You're gonna need a little bit more than that, buddy, to do 12 minutes for the rest of the season. So I know Sam on Nothing But Knicks did a show earlier and talked about Isaiah. I don't know who else he talked about it, but I know he talked about Isaiah Stewart. He talked about James Wiseman. He talked about, was it Doran? It wasn't Doran. It was Bagley. He talked about Bagley. And I know those in the chat, JJ, shout out to JJ. Happy holidays to you and your fam. Talked about Kelly Olynyk. I know I mentioned Drummond from Chicago, though he's in Chicago's rotation, though. Just your thoughts on who would you like to see? Don't mess around and bring in Isaiah Stewart. He might be a star. He might be the starter. So you got to be careful who you bring in. Who would you guys like to see behind Hartenstein? And then we'll also talk a little bit more about Hartenstein also.
For me, I think it's Andre Drummond, maybe just because of the rebounding. Like, I don't think anybody that we're bring in here is like a rim protector anyway. Nobody that would be available. All the old guys that we was bringing up before, like Boogie Cousins and Dwight Howard. Well, Dwight Howard is obviously a rim protector, but he's obviously older. They're both playing overseas, I believe. Serge Ibaka is playing in Germany somewhere. Some people brought up Nerlens Noel. Never. I don't want him on this team ever again. So I don't see any shot blockers out there. Even Isaiah Stewart's not a shot blocker. So I want somebody that can rebound the basketball. So with the price that it would take, I would go with Andre Drummond. But it's not like, I'm calling home for Andre Drummond either. But that's just the cards we've been dealt. Like, it's going to be slim pickings. Like, it's not that many 7-foot bigs, in the world, period, let alone somebody that can actually help us win basketball games coming off the bench. So, yeah, I don't know. Andre Drummond would probably be my number one, though.
Your thoughts on Mo Bamba?
Mo Bamba can shoot. I know a lot of people just say he doesn't get that many chances, but the chance that he has gotten that I've seen him, I mean, he's young. He's from the area. He seemed like I don't know if what Tibbs would like him, though. Like, he doesn't seem like a Tibbs type of center to me, but he can shoot. He can stretch the floor. He can play defense sometimes, but he's talented. But I'm not sure if he's the Tibbs type of center that he would want.
I mean, he can. Yeah.
He can shoot, though.
He can shoot. He can, he's a rim protector. What do you guys think about the idea that even if someone is not a great defender, if they have the defensive tools and they get into the right system, that you might see something better?
I don't know, man. Tibbs seemed like he liked dogs at center. Even iHeart, he's not the most athletic, center out there, but he got a little dog in him. You can tell. Mitch is the same way. I don't see the dog in Mo Bamba. I never have. Like, I know he's a rim protector, but he doesn't seem like he's Tibbs type of dude to me. I don't see him getting that many minutes, even if he was here.
Wow. Okay. And one thing about Hartenstein, he doesn't get tired. In that Laker game when he played, 30-something minutes, he was putting out the same effort in the 38th minute that he was putting out in the 3rd minute.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's in phenomenal shape. Jeff?
I don't think we're bringing in anybody who's a project. And Mo Bamba seems like a project guy to me. I think if you're gonna, and I'm not saying him specifically, but I think if we're bringing in someone, it's gonna be like a Derek Favors kind of a guy. It's someone who's a veteran, who's been through the wars, who's reliable, who you know what you're getting, who. That's why Andre Drummond makes a lot of sense to me. Because he's not a project. Is he ideal? No, but he's a guy that you can play in 12. He's a rotation ready guy who's going to give you rebounding on both the offensive and defensive glass. So that makes him, that's one thing we forget about Hartenstein is he's not the offensive rebounder that Mitch is, but he's probably still one of the top 10 offensive rebounders in the NBA. He's really
percentile, I want to say.
He's really good at that. And
Mm-hmm.
like Mitch, he doesn't always grab as much on the defensive glass as we would like, but I don't think he's a slouch there either. That's not what I'm saying. But so in a lot of ways he can emulate from a rebounding perspective what Mitch can do. And so I think if we're going to find someone, I think we need to find a glass eater. I don't know. What do you guys think about Dwayne Dedman? There's a guy who's been around the block a time.
How old is he? Yeah, and he played for Miami as well.
Yeah, he's not that old, I don't think.
If he's not like 37 himself, I wouldn't mind. He just seemed old.
He's not that old. Yeah.
He's not, but if he's not, I wouldn't mind Dedman. Yeah, I wouldn't mind him at all. He's played in the Miami system, so he would fit right in with Tibbs.
He older than I thought he was. He is 34. He's 34 years old.
Okay.
I did not think he was
34 is not, I mean, that's better than 38 or 37. That's
no doubt.
Well, he's playing for the Ontario Clippers right now. Like he's in the G League.
Damn.
Derek Favors in the G League too, or Windy City, whatever. So I don't know what they're called.
Hey man, living a dream, man. Don't give it up.
Wow. Yeah, JaVale McGee is with somebody. I believe it is the Kings.
Yeah, I can see that, but he's in their rotation though.
Yeah, and I think, and shout out to Sherwin. Happy holidays to you and your family. He said, Drummond is not in the rotation, but I've watched a few Chicago games and I've seen Drummond play. I'm not sure. Maybe we can look up and see how many games he's played in. Like if he's only played in 5.
Playing of late when they've been playing better, actually, because they've won like 7 of their last 10 or something like that. The Bulls,
right. Yeah, I mean, it still doesn't mean he's not gettable. I don't think it was garbage minutes when I saw it. When I saw him, Sherwin. But listen,
only making $3.3 million, so that's a nice salary figure too.
If the Knicks can get Drummond, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. He has the size. He can rebound. He can dunk.
I'm looking. They're actually playing the Spurs now, and Drummond is in their rotation. He's already logged in 14 minutes, 12 points, and 6 rebounds.
Right.
Not bad.
Yeah. That's real. 12 points and 6 rebounds in how many minutes?
14 so far. He's playing the Spurs, though. The Spurs.
Oh, the Spurs. Okay. I was about to say, I'll take it.
Yeah, he probably bullying people on the other side.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's their backup center.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what it would take. Let's talk about Hartenstein a little more. What have you seen from him since Mitch has been out. Is there anything that surprised you, or you just feel like this is what you thought you would get from him?
I'll go first. Yeah, I think iHeart is iHeart. I actually would like to see a lot more from him now that I know Mitch is going to be out for the rest of the season. I wish the ball went through him a little bit more on offense, take the pressure off of Jalen Brunson. But we'll see. That's a Tibbs decision, obviously. And I guess the Brunson and Randle decision also, they might not be comfortable with him making the decisions out there with the ball in his hand. So that remains to be seen. I would like him to do that. I would like him to actually shoot the ball a little bit more. But yeah, I don't think there's no surprises with iHeart so far. Like I said, last year, Mitch missed time at iHeart. I think he filled in for him rather well. And I think it would be the same thing. It's just a longer stretch of time now. It's the first time he will log this type of minutes for that period of time for the rest of the season. So we got to see. He might, I think JJ said it in your show earlier today, your pop-up show. JJ in the chat said that iHeart might be playing his way out of here because he's a free agent after this season.
Yeah.
So I actually do expect his price to go up by the end of this season. I think he'll be better.
Yeah. And not only that, if the Knicks play well with him at center, you're absolutely right. The price is, the price is going to go up. I still think it's something for the Knicks to think about, depending on how well he plays. Geoff, any surprises with Hartenstein?
I don't know that I'm surprised. I mean, here's a guy who's talented. He's playing for his paycheck next year, and I mean, I think he's going to get a significant salary increase from the way that he's playing. I think he's doing a great job playing to his strengths, and like I said, he's very versatile compared on the offensive end compared to what Mitch does, and so it's kind of like a revelation when you've got someone who does some stuff with the ball out there, and but he doesn't. He's kind of like Mitch in that he doesn't have to have the ball in his hands. It's just kind of like an added bonus that if you get the ball to him, he's got pretty good court vision. He's got that little floater, which I love. Maybe I'm the only one, but that little like 8-foot push shot, whatever that is, that when he's got that going, that I love that. As a big guy, I just love that shot. I don't know why from him, but I just enjoy that. So
I think we have a call.
When it misses, it drives me crazy. But when he makes it, that's nice.
1 second. Hello?
Can't hear on our.
You didn't hear it, right?
No.
Nope.
And it's connected to the Rodecaster. I'll turn it up some more.
I was about to say, make sure all
Right.
the knob is all the way up and all that stuff.
Oh, right. Oh, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. There it is. All right, Jerrell. Try to put it all nice.
I'm just saying.
You got all your knobs up.
Hey man, the way I talked about Sims last week, I'm gonna be nice and calm this show. I'm chilling.
Nah, that was listen, that was good. Tell your truth. A lot of times we pull punches on the channel because not just this channel, just podcasters in general, because we don't want to offend the fan base. But at the end of the day, you have to tell your truth. Call if you can call back. We are getting from this caller what we are getting from Grimes.
Oh,
That was low.
Oh,
See?
Let's go.
Call from
JJ.
Hey,
nice.
press 1 to send a voicemail.
Here we go. Hey, JJ, can you hear us?
Yeah, I got you. How you guys doing? Happy holidays.
Same to you. How are you?
What's going on? I'm doing good. How's everyone doing? Salute.
Good,
Great.
good.
Nice.
Salute.
Glad you're
What
on
you
the
got
program.
for us?
Salute. Yeah, man. Mitch News, obviously, that was a tough blow. You hear 6 to 8, and then you see the share and tweet, and yeah, that's a blow. I mean, but shout out to Hartenstein, man. He's a savior right now. I mean, think about where we would be at the 5 if it wasn't for him.
Right.
we'd be in a world of trouble, man.
Right.
So shout out to him, man. He's been. It's a shame because what do they say? Yesterday's price isn't today's price.
Right.
So with the opportunities he's gonna get now, and the increase in minutes and now numbers, we're already paying Mitch what, $15 million a year.
Right.
So he might want close to that. If he has a good rest of the season, how much you gonna pay for two centers in a cap sport? You're gonna pay, $30 million combined a year. I don't think that's smart business.
Right.
So kind of unfortunate, but I think that it could be tough unless he loves it here so much. It's not like he's gotten crazy paid yet, so
Right.
I'm sure he'll want his bag. So
Let me ask you a question.
it'd be tough.
If Hartenstein plays well the rest of the season, who are you picking? Mitch or Hartenstein?
Oof. Oh boy, you put me on the spot with that one. Oh boy, man. Boy,
That's
honestly,
a tough one. That's a tough one. Yes.
Boy, I might have to flip a coin on that one. I mean, it depends, like the offense, I gotta say, like, I think it's better right now. Like, I don't want to get on Mitch, because what he does, offensively with the offensive rebounds. But I just think Hartenstein, he's got the little floater. He's got pretty decent hands. I think it's helping our offense a little bit, honestly, having Hartenstein in there over Mitch.
I agree with that.
So I might have to even maybe choose Hartenstein. But the thing is, if you were to say even trade Mitch, how much value does he have? With all the injury concerns coming off the foot injury, So I think it has to be one or the other, though. I don't see a way we could keep both.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I
agree with that.
So,
that's a good question.
Yeah.
Let me know in the chat.
Yeah.
If it came to that, if Hartenstein balled out for the rest of the season, you had a choice, who you keeping? Anything else you have for us, JJ?
Yeah, I mean, the team, as a whole, the team's playing well. 3-2 road trip. Anytime you could go 3-2 on the road, especially on the West, you take it and you run with it. It's just unfortunate you lose one of the games you lose is to Utah. It's like, 4-1 would have been sweet.
Yes. Yes.
So, I know we still got some tough games coming up. So, but so far, they're playing pretty good ball. I just feel like the way Brunson and Randle are playing, they both just been amazing. I just feel like we need that consistent third. And like, I know I'm a huge RJ critic, but we need a consistent third guy, and we don't have it right now. The one thing I will say about RJ, where I will give him credit, I don't know what the numbers say and whatnot. I feel like recently, like the last 5, 6, 7 games, I feel like his defense on the perimeter has been actually pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me. I feel like it's been pretty good. I really do. I feel like he's staying in front of guys better than he was. So I will say that. I think, at least to my eyes, at least.
I would agree with that too.
I think. Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got, man. You guys have a great holiday, man. I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right.
You too, JJ. Salute.
We're going to talk about Grimes a little later, so hang in there.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to call back.
All right. Happy holidays to you.
I appreciate it. Take care, guys.
Right, bye-bye.
Peace.
Yeah, I think I would lean toward Hartenstein. I got to be honest. I think I would lean toward Hartenstein. And I've said this from the beginning. I don't think it's about what Mitch does on the defensive end. I think we know that. I think it's about what this offense can be like with Hartenstein and DiVincenzo. And can we shore up the defense so that we don't need a rim protector? Like we're okay. Can we shore up our defense so that our defense is okay? Because again, other teams are doing it without a Mitchell Robinson back there. So we might need to make some changes along the perimeter. But again, I would need to see the rest of Hartenstein the rest of the season and what our offense looks like, but that's where I'm leaning. Geoff, I already know where you're leaning, and Jerrell, but you can still say that, Jerrell.
Do you know, like in this scenario, do we know how much iHeart is? You talk about going forward after this season if he's playing well,
And trading Mitch. Mm-hmm.
Do we know how much he's getting paid? That's a big deal, to be honest.
Well, between him and Mitch right now, it's $23 million. I don't think he's getting that.
So I guess for the sake of argument, let's just say he's making the exact same money as Mitch is.
Okay. So
we could just, it's just talent, what he does on the court, and money has nothing to do with it. All right. Or salaries have nothing to do with it, I should say. That's a hard question, Steph. I think I might go iHeart, but I'm not mad at either, but iHeart does give us a little bit more versatility on the offensive end. So I like that, obviously. I'll go iHeart just for the sake of this, discussion. For now, I should say.
And my caveat is for the seeing how how the offense looks for the rest of the season. But I got to be honest, I've been waiting for the Knicks, not necessarily iHeart, not necessarily to have an offensive minded center for I can't tell you how long. Geoff, if you wanted to add something.
One thing I will say, and then as someone who's an ardent supporter of Mitchell Robinson, is that the number one ability is availability, and so much as I like Mitchell Robinson for 35 games doesn't cut it, and so I think that's something you have to factor in as well as the durability. I mean, Hartenstein doesn't miss a game. I think he played in all 82 last year and or close to it, and he's been stalwart this year. So you have to factor that into your decision making. I mean, unfortunately, I think from a practical standpoint, it's going to be tough to do anything with Robinson coming off of an ankle injury. I mean, I don't know anybody who's going to want to trade for a player who's coming off of that serious an injury and not get pennies on the dollar for him. I mean, so it may just be one of those things where you bring back Hartenstein and see where it goes, and have them both in the fold. I don't know, but it maybe something that we find out sooner rather than later, because it's definitely coming down the pike. And then the question, well, here's another question too, is if you have to pay one of iHeart at 15 million or Quickley at 25, which one do you pay?
Yeah,
or do you pay both?
Yeah,
I think it will have to be iHeart under those circumstances, I think.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I like Quickley, I'm not paying Quickley 25 million.
Or whatever he's worth. I just threw a number out. I'm not saying it's 20, whatever you think the going rate for Quickley is. Let's just put it that way. But I think he's getting north of 20. If in other words, if you're saying iHeart's getting 15, you ain't getting Quickley for 16.
No, I hear you. No, I hear you. I know this is not a Quickley conversation, but to answer your question, I wouldn't. And it's not, for me, it's not because Quickley is not worth that money. I think it's because where the Knicks have positioned him. I mean, you brought in Brunson. Basically, you're saying you're not a point guard. You're not playing him next to Brunson because basically you're saying you don't fit next to Brunson, or we think you're better leading the second unit. Then you bring in DiVincenzo, and you cut his minutes from 30 to 24. I'm not paying 25 million to Quickley to play 24 minutes a game on the second unit. That's not something I'm doing. And I think the Knicks did that. Like the Knicks had every opportunity to create space for Quickley to get 30 minutes a game, even if you didn't start him. he can be playing 30 minutes like he did last season in the second unit.
Mm-hmm.
You went out and brought in DiVincenzo. He's playing 24 minutes a game, and then you want to give him $25 million. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And I think the Knicks, I think the Knicks have showed their hand, in my opinion, in terms of what they're going to do it quickly.
Yep. Think so too. I think as soon as they traded for Dante, I think it was the right ones on the wall, to be honest.
Yeah.
And 25 for 24 minutes, that's crazy. More millions than minutes? No.
Right. Exactly. And his role, obviously, I don't know if I would say you can get what Quickley gives us for less money. I don't know if I would say that, because there's not a lot of second unit guys that's coming in and giving you instant offense. And if there are, let me know. I'm in the chat or in the panel if something, somebody comes to mind for you guys. But I just feel like we can put together a pretty good second unit, even if Quickley is not here. Even if Quickley is not here, we'd have to bring in somebody else. Don't get me wrong. But I think it could be done. And again, there's no disrespect to Quick. I think he's a really good player. I think, he'll have an opportunity to, run his own team. He'll get that opportunity. And just like Randle, it took Randle, his 6th year to get that opportunity to be like a prominent player in the offense. Quickley will get that opportunity as well. So again, it's not a knock on Quickley. It's just you paying that much money for somebody to play 24 minutes. Like the Knicks are basically saying, we don't see you that. We don't see you as a starter. We don't see you as a starting point guard, a starting off guard, and even on the bench, 24 minutes. We're gonna bring in defense. Like, come on, like no. Again, it wasn't a Quickley conversation, but we but we made it. But we made it one. Yeah, and I think I think Quickley's gonna be traded. Yeah, I think Quickley's gonna be I think Quickley's gonna be traded. All right. We talked about Taj, but how long we think he'll hold up. We talked about the ceiling of the Knicks without Mitch. All right, and we talked about some replacements. Anything else on Mitchell Robinson?
Get well soon, brother.
Yeah, and I did want to say this though about Mitch. Obviously, I don't know him personally, but from what you read, he just comes across to me as a really likable guy. And the two things that stand out for me that's really heartfelt is, bringing his coach to live with him after his coach wife died.
Mm-hmm.
And the relationship from the outside, I have no inside knowledge between him and iHeart. They talking every day, texting iHeart after every game, and even before this. So like, there's no competition between us. It's like, what can both of us do for the Knicks? And a lot of times when you have a guy who, if you're not playing well, gets more minutes than you, sometimes it's hard to I wouldn't say like the guy, but to have the relationship they seem to have, sometimes that's difficult. And he's able to do that. And what that says to me is it's about team. I really like Hartenstein, and I'm not going to let this minutes and whatever is out of my control get in between that. So I'm reading into all of it, of course, but I really appreciate that about Mitchell Robinson for sure.
I think Fred Katz's reporting on the subject kind of backs up that opinion, though. I don't think that's unfounded in the least. I mean, Robinson just seems like a hilarious dude. I mean, Katz just loves to, like, I think is his favorite player in the locker room, just because he's a character, and he's just Mitch. That's all there is to say about it. But yeah, I think he is a genuinely good dude, and it's tough when bad things happen to good people, but that's part of it. You gotta overcome this. Then the next step, he's gotta go through all that rehab and all that again and come out the other end better for it. Gotta keep fighting.
Yeah, no doubt about it. IQ haters are always comparing him to Grimes. For some reason, they're now comparing him to Dante. Listen, Brunson, IQ, there are some fans who like the game played a certain way. And if you're a ball dominant player, particularly if you're a guard and you don't pass as much as they believe you can pass, you should pass. People are not gonna, like you, so they,
And they're always going to be comparable. They're guards on the same team.
Mm-hmm.
Similar height.
Yeah. I mean, and I get it. I get it. All right. So this is a good one. And then because I want to talk about Randle, but the chat is on fire and you guys have some really, really good questions. So if I see a good one, I want to put it up. No, that's not it. Not that it's not a good question, JJ. I'm just saying that's not the one I was looking for. Shy Legacy, do we really have a big three or are we perpetrating? Your thoughts on that?
We don't have a big three. We have a big 2.25, maybe 2.5. No, we got a big 2. I don't think we have a big 3. That's the whole thing. We need that third one. That's the whole thing. I think, and really it may be 1.5 if you're going to go by Randle's playoff performances. We know that Jalen in the postseason is gold. We know he's going to come through and perform. So Brunson is rock solid. Whether you want to say that he's not a 1A, you're entitled to that opinion. I'm not gonna. To me, the guy is a piece you can win with because he's a winner. I mean, his ability to take over a game, the things that anyway, we've been through all that. I don't need to go deep into that. But so he's solid 1. Randle has got to do it in the playoffs, but I mean, we're about to talk about Randle, I guess, but he's potentially his third time in 4 years All NBA, All-Star. I know we know Queen's not about the accolades. She don't care. Just get her 25 and 15 in the playoffs, or she'll pack your bag herself. But and I'm with you on that, by the way. Like I need to see it in the postseason. I need to see it with consistency, but I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he's 2 right now, but we don't have a third. We don't have close to a third.
Yeah. Jerrell, any?
I don't even think we need to. I'm sitting there like, we don't have no big 3, man. Stop.
I've seen it on other podcasts before. But even if they're not big, they're the 3 best players on this team, though some would argue that IQ is better than RJ. Some would argue that. Yeah, I don't think we have a big 3. I think we have one in a possible.
We don't even have 3 bigs right now, much
right?
less a big 3.
Yeah.
We got like a 1.7.
Yeah, and I'm really waiting for Randle to cross over in the playoffs. Once he crosses over in the playoffs, I'm gonna be a happy sister. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Nikki B from Harlem, not a big 3, but we got 2. JJ 2.25. Okay. Yeah. I love and respect y'all, but wow, on some of these takes, oh boy, I probably correlate because you don't agree with us, and it's okay. We don't all have to agree. We just keep it respectful. Um, we all have different takes on things, and it's cool. Um, mm, this is basically about we paid, but listen, the front office paid. The front office paid RJ, and it's the front office who's slow to pay quickly. It's not the fans. That's on the front office. All right. Anything else about Mitch, Hartenstein, Quickley, who snuck in there?
That was my bad.
I'm about to say that's Geoff's fault.
That's
That was my
okay.
fault.
Yeah, no, that's totally okay. It's gonna be interesting to see because if the Knicks aren't gonna pay him, they have to trade him by the trade deadline. Or match
This
whenever he
offseason
gets
is
in
the
restricted free agency and then try to move him afterwards. Or create room for him. That's what I'm saying. If you're gonna sign him to 25 million, create room on the team for him to get minutes. That's where I'm at. I don't have a problem with Quickley being on the team, but not at 24 minutes. Maxi and IQ separated at birth. Okay. And one of them got fed really well, and the other one is
I'm
an
about to say,
orphanage.
one of them Danny DeVito, the other one is Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's a little bit rough, Jerrell, but
Yeah,
okay.
You're right.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to Randle. And I feel like we have this conversation every year, or at least I bring this question up every year. So Randle goes on a great stretch. He looks good. He looks engaged. We see the potential. And, then the question comes up again, do we need a superstar? Can he be a number one on a championship contending team? I'm going to go first because it's going to be real quick for me. Last season, I brought into, I saw Randle play and I said, you know what? I don't know if we need a superstar. I think the way Randle is playing and the way Brunson is playing right now, I think all we need to do is build around those two. And then the season wound down and it wasn't looking too good. Randle got hurt in the playoffs, yes. But for me, with Randle, it was never a question of his talent anyway. It's never a question about what he can do on a basketball court. It's always a question of what does he choose to do tonight, right? Other than on the offensive end. Is he going to choose to play defense tonight? And again, I'm not looking for 100% on every possession. He carries a load. But is he going to give you something defensively? Is he going to be engaged today or not? It's never a question about Randle's talent. And in the playoffs, when teams are really game planning for him, will he be able to figure it out? I don't know, between the first and the second half, or between the first game and the second game, what they're doing and how to combat, like his processing speed in a playoff type atmosphere. That's the issue with Randle. Never, ever, ever, ever about his talent. So for me, I don't think he's a number one on a championship contending team. This stretch that he's having right now hasn't changed my opinion on that. He's doing it differently, right? I like the fact that he's playing more down low. He's playing more in the post. He knows where his strengths are. He's not taking as much three-pointers. He's very efficient in what he does, but he's not a number one on the championship. He's had stretches like this before. Geoff, then Jerrell, just your thoughts. Has this stretch changed your opinion about Julius Randle and where he'd be on a championship contending team? And then I'm interested, and then I'll go to the chat as well.
It doesn't for me. But you know what, Julius, I love the way he's playing right now. I really do. I last year, the 10 3-point attempts a game was frustrating to me. Like, I understood it, it was part of what we did, but he wasn't a good shooter, and it was just the volume thing, and it just, I don't know. I'm much more comfortable with him cutting that number in half and taking those attempts from inside. I really like his process this year. I really am curious. His rebounding numbers seem down, and I'm not real sure why that is, but I don't feel like he's been as big a force on the boards this season as he has been in seasons past. And as a team, we've still been an excellent rebounding team. I think we're still one of the 2 or 3 best in the league, but just from his personal, and I don't know if maybe he's, I don't understand the reasoning behind that, but when you consider that, he couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat for the first 8 games of the season, and what he's doing now, like, I mean, he's on a tear. I mean, he's just, there's no power forward in the game who does what he does when he's on. None that does what he does. I mean, he's incredible. But again, as you said, we've seen this from him before. We need this in the postseason, and if he does this in the postseason, and again, I think you're on pace for a guy to make his 3rd All-NBA team in 4 seasons, 3rd All-Star appearance. There's not a lot of New York Knickerbockers in the history of our franchise who have those accolades. So from that standpoint, you have to, in my opinion, you have to give Julius his props. I mean, how long when he wasn't here, we were, we had Langston Galloway and Alexei Shved, and we were begging for a guy who could put up the kind of numbers that Randle is, and now we have that kind of guy, and he's not good enough. And so I kind of think that's a little bit unfair to him, because I just want to enjoy what he is instead of focusing on what he isn't, because it is maddening. Like the plays I can't stand is like when he's literally just standing there on defense, not getting back in transition. They're just plays that make you want to pull your hair out if you have any left. And then he'll go through and he'll have these quarters where it's just like, well, the Nets didn't know what to do with him last night. He was phenomenal. They couldn't guard him. He was unguardable. And then it's just like, oh yeah, I remember this guy. I like this guy. And four assists and 1 turnover. So he even, that's the other thing that's maddening about him is he gets in these ruts where it's 6, 7 turnovers. He's forcing the ball, and he's kind of the Nuke LaLoosh of the NBA, the $1 million arm and the 5-cent head. But he's our 5-cent head, and
you caught me off guard with that one, Geoff. I never heard that. That's funny.
Right. Jerrell, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I guess that my answer is no, just like the two of you. Like, we want to see Randle in the playoffs. Like, he is playing well. I don't have anything negative to say about him, but this is still the regular season. It's not even the All-Star break yet. We'll see how Randle plays in the playoffs, and that's what we're pretty much waiting for. Like, we already know what regular season Randle is capable of. Like, he's not that guardable. When it comes to a 7-game series and people can, game plan for him and stuff like that, we'll see what happens then.
Right. Amani, the great Minneapolis. Hope everything is well with you and your family. Happy holidays. Queen, I get it, but the punching bag of Randle, it has gotten so old, and people are waiting to say, how can you do it in the playoffs? We need to make the playoffs first. He's been talking to Ajay. But what about Brunson's defense? I mean, listen, I think I think we're giving props to Randle and how he's playing right now. I don't think anybody is arguing with that. And I think, there are some fans that's not going to give Randle credit even during this stretch, right? And those fans are fans that have their however they feel about Randle, and it doesn't matter how he's playing, right? We got those we got fans who feel the same way about Thibodeau, feels the same way about the front office. Doesn't matter what those guys do, they don't like him, period. And there's some fans that's like that, about Randle. But I think for the most part, those in the chat, are being fair. And I think that's fair. He is a great, really good regular season player. I don't think that's a slight to say, I need you to show up in the playoffs. And as far as Brunson's defense is concerned, I think we need to, first of all, his defense prior to this ankle injury was much better. I think since the ankle injury, I think his defense has been slipping. But I think we need to give Brunson's defense up. Give it up. Just give it up. We don't talk about Trae Young's defense. We don't talk about Damian Lillard's defense. We don't talk about James Harden defense. And whenever those guys, when it was Trae Young might be available, Knick fans wanted to get Trae Young. When Dame Lillard was available, Knick fans wanted to get Dame Lillard. When James Harden was in his prime, Knick fans would have been all over James Harden. And none of those guards play defense. Give it up. That's just not a strength of Jalen Brunson. And it's not like he doesn't try. It's not like he's out there like Randle just taking time off and slacking. He has physical limitations when it comes to defense. It's not going to change. The Knicks have to construct a team around him so that they don't get hurt by his defense. But he tries on defense. And I don't know if we can say that about every other player in the Knicks starting lineup. All right? That's
what it is about Julius Randle? Julius Randle is like when you put something that's way too hot in your mouth and the next thing you do, whatever it is wrong. That's what Julius Randle is to some people, It doesn't matter what he does. He's just, put something hot in your mouth and you swallow it, burns you, you spit it out. That's not good either, right? So there's no good option. So that's how a lot of people view Julius Randle. He just no matter what he does out there, it's wrong, and you can't give him any props or any credit. But I don't think that's this group here. I think we're pretty fair to Randle. I mean, and all of them really. If Randle's playing well, we say, hey, Randle's playing well. First 5 games of the year, Randle was not playing well. I think you heard that here. I mean, I think we talked about that at length, but I don't think we pull punches with any. That's one of the things I like about this community, the chat, and specifically this panel. We don't pull punches with people. I don't want the pom-pom squad. Like, I don't want, I love this guy no matter what. He's great when he's shooting 2 for 7 for 13 games in a row. Well, no, that's not great. That's pretty lousy, actually. Do better. Do something good for the Knicks. That's what we want. We love the Knicks. We want you to do well. So if you're doing well, then we're going to praise you. If you're not doing well, then we're not just going to sit there and blow smoke. I mean, that's what I like about, that's what drew me to this place is I don't, some people, it's funny. Some people, the Knicks can do no wrong. And then other people, the Knicks can do no right. There are both extremes out there in the fan base, and you're gonna. But then I think there's like 80% of us who understand that, yeah, they do some things right, and yeah, they do some things wrong. But then and then it seems like the ones who are on the extremes tend to be the loudest with their opinions a lot of times. So that tends to get out in the forefront. Whereas most people, it's like, yeah, well, he's playing well right now. We're going to praise him. First 10 games of the year, he was like historically the worst ever. Like, and that's not an exaggeration. Like his shooting percentages were like terrible. And now he's turned that around. RJ Barrett had a great start to the season. Then he got a migraine and it sapped all of his strength. And now he's coming back up. And he's starting to play better again. And so, I think that, we don't have to look at all these things in a vacuum and say, just because a player was good on December 21st means that they're good for all time. And just because a player was bad on December 21st doesn't mean they were bad for all time. And, even the best players are going to go through slumps.
Right.
That's part of it. And so that's what we're here to do, is look at the big picture and say, well, is this just a little slump? Is this just a little surge, or is it more to it than that? And at this point, I think we have like 2.5 years of pretty solid data that this is pretty much the player who Randle is. Right. Now just do it in the playoffs.
Correct. To Nikki B, I'm interested. That's your interpretation of his behavior. Brunson has been horrible, but you give him a pass. Are you talking about horrible overall? Or are you talking about horrible on defense? And if you're talking about horrible on defense, I'm interested in knowing, do you think it's his physical limitations, or do you think it's because he's not trying on defense? Because I'm not disagreeing with you that he's not a great defensive player. And there has been some games in which he has been horrible on defense. But my question to you is, do you think that's physical limitations, or do you think he's out there loafing? All right. I only have one other question. Let me see. All right. Anything else you guys have? Oh, I wanted to talk about Becky Hammon's conversation. We'll leave it at that with Perkins about basically feeling like the Knicks don't have that dude. And basically Brunson is not that. I don't think she said Brunson is not, but to say they need that dude is one way of saying that they don't have that dude. Like Brunson and Randle is not that dude. And that you cannot win a championship with a small guy as your best player. And, she gave the exception was Kerr, and I guess Isaiah Thomas was before her time. But just your thoughts on that.
There are definitely outliers. See, I didn't hear exactly what she said, but from what you told me, I mean, there are obviously outliers when it comes to smaller players, especially point guards, taking their team to a championship and then actually being the best player on the team. It is rare, but that doesn't mean it can't happen. Like, the question is Brunson that type of caliber player? Even if he isn't right now, that doesn't mean that he won't be like in a couple years, because he's still young.
You think? I wonder if you guys would be able to hear it. Let me see. Let me see if I can make it. Let me see.
You had to click it in. Yeah.
Y'all can hear it?
They don't have enough personnel. They don't have the power that they need to hang with those guys. I think you're going to get a consistent team like they've been. They're a pretty good team. They're well coached. They're going to be on their defensive game. But at the end of the day, they don't have a dude. You got to have a dude. You got to have a 1A dude. And they're missing that at the end of the day if we're just getting down to brass tacks. Sorry.
I didn't want to disagree with Becky today. They do have that dude.
Who?
Jalen Brunson.
No, he's too small.
But here's the thing, and that's
Didn't they say about you?
But you know what?
Say that about you. You're a Hall of Famer.
I got a philosophy. Can I say my philosophy?
Go ahead.
If your best player is small, you're not winning. John Stockton, Allen Iverson, Steve Nash, you can go down the list. Steph Curry.
But he's not that small. He's not that small. He's like 6'3".
But also, though, I mean, he's the greatest shooter to ever walk the planet. He's in a outclass.
Okay. She
is
right. History says she is right.
Okay, but we're living in a new age. Okay, new day.
Oh, okay. So that was
technically, like I said, I see what you meant. Like, you pretty much said what she said verbatim. Like, it was interpreted well.
Thank you, brother.
It was. Like, I didn't hear that until she just said, you said exactly what she said. I hate to say it, but she is right when it comes to stuff like that. Like, it's very rare. That does not mean it can't happen, but she is correct in what she's saying. Like, it's not that many point guards were the best player on their team when they won a championship. Like, it's not that many. It's not that many. It's not that many examples of that. But I'm one of those people that think even if Jalen Brunson isn't the best player on our team, that doesn't mean we can't get somebody that's better than him.
Right.
Doesn't mean that we have to get rid of him. That doesn't mean he can't be a 1A. He can be one of the players that lead us to a championship. I don't really care how we win the championship, whether it's by a short guy, a tall guy, medium guy. It really doesn't matter. I just want the chip, period. But as she's saying, I mean, we could disagree with her, but what she's saying is factual with some, outliers. Let's just say that.
Right. Jeff?
It's a little bit of a counterpoint, though. I'll say this: the game is a lot different now, and it's more of a guard's game than it ever has been before. So I think that there is maybe more of a window or an opportunity for a smaller player to have more of an impact and a role than before. I mean, obviously last year Jokic was the biggest and the best, but he's just the MVP regardless of size. But I mean, he's just incredible in what he does. I think she has a definite point, but I will say this, Jalen Brunson may not be that dude, but he is a guy that can get you a long way. And, we're not a finished product. I always think it's funny that these analysts are like no Knick fan, or very few Knick fans are like, yeah, this team is a championship team as constructed. I don't think 90% of Knick Nation doesn't say that. We all say we need more pieces. We need another piece. We need another star. Well, so I think we acknowledge that, but at the same time, we're still in year 3 of our rebuild here. So that these things take time. So it's not everybody is able to do the Boston Celtics thing and trade for Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen in an offseason and go from, average to a championship. That's not usually the way that it happens in the NBA. We've got a very young team, and Jalen Brunson is just 26 years old. He just dropped a 50 spot the other day on 23 shots or something like that. That's that dude, if you ask me. I mean, I don't know a whole lot of people dropping 50 on 23 shots. Like that's not typical of anybody any size, and I think that they like to marginalize Brunson because they don't watch the Knicks. I bet Becky Hammon's probably watched 2 Knick games all year long. She doesn't know what the Knicks are doing. She doesn't. I mean, she has to give an opinion for that show, but she doesn't follow the Knicks like we're following the Knicks. She doesn't see the impact that he has from game to game. She hasn't seen how he's carried this team to victory down the stretch in games in ways that even guys like Donovan Mitchell, who I'm sure she has a much higher opinion of, haven't done. So let them hate if they want to. But again, the only way we're going to fix this is by winning the championship. If we don't do that, we just proven them right. But to me, from this aspect, she's right to me. I think we need another star. I honestly believe that because it's a stars league, and we need to prove it. Like I'm not going to sit here and be hurt about it when you are what your record says you are, and we haven't won a championship in my lifetime. So right. That. So we do that. Those criticisms are fair and valid.
I'm like reading people in the chat, and I hear what Jeff's saying. I don't necessarily think what she said was hate on Jalen Brunson, though. That wasn't her point. Like, it wasn't a Jalen Brunson thing. Her philosophy is she don't think anybody that size can win a championship or be the best player on a championship team. I don't really necessarily think it's a Knicks or a Jalen Brunson thing. We're just in that situation that she's talking about.
Right. when she said they don't have that dude.
Mm-hmm. Like, I think we're taking it way too personal.
Right.
Because we've been saying that we don't.
Yeah, that's true.
Like that for a championship. Not that Jalen Brunson isn't who he is, but we're talking about a championship contending player.
Yeah, and I don't know that, but I can't say he can't be.
Right.
I don't think right now he is the number one player on the championship contending team. Can he turn into that? Would I be surprised? No. But if you ask me that right now, I would say no. But is it Ritz Holzman? He had a great post on Jalen Brunson today, and I hear this a lot in the chat, where people try to low key disrespect Brunson. He's just a scorer. He's just clutch. He's just he's just a winner. And he really went down with videos, because when he does his posts, he'll have like 14 he'll have like 14 videos to prove his point. And the fact of the matter is, Brunson is more than a scorer. That's the fact of the matter is. And we have Knick fans that's still throwing him shade because they don't play the way they want him to play. And they really don't, in my opinion, don't understand what it means to win in this league and the type of players you need to have on your team to win in the playoffs. And if you've seen Jalen Brunson in Dallas and you saw Jalen Brunson in the playoffs last year, I don't understand how you could just say he's just a scorer or he's just a this or he's just a that. He balled out despite all of the attention that he got. And I just don't get Knick fans, and not even Knick fans, even outside of the Knick community, downplaying that. Like, you watch Brunson every night. You watch him show up big in critical situations. You've watched him close games for us. You've watched him in the playoffs. And to say, oh, he's just a scorer. Oh, he's just a this. I think to me, if we trying to win a chip, we got at least one. And you can, I think two. But those who, are not that sure on Randle and his role in a championship contending team, okay, fine. You need to see more. Fine. Brunson is that dude, and he doesn't need to make anybody better. Who's Dame making better? Who's Harden making better? Like, people are asking Brunson to do what these other guards in the league aren't doing. We're comparing Brunson to our perception. Is it conception or perception?
Perception
of what we think a point guard should be, instead of comparing him to his peers. Everybody talk about Trae Young. Oh, wow. Well, Trae Young, he scores and he gets 8 assists. Where has Atlanta been since Trae Young's been there? They went to the finals one time. They got hot and went to the finals one time. But has Trae Young elevated that franchise? Absolutely not. With all of his stats, absolutely not. So let's stop holding Brunson accountable, wanting him to play a certain way when these other guards in the league ain't playing that way. Maybe one, maybe two. Forget your conception of what a point guard should do and start watching other teams and what their point guard is doing. I don't see Dame making anybody better. Luka, I watched the Dallas game. The offense was all Luka and whoever he chose to pass the ball to. Come on. We finally got one and we want to shade him, Anyway, Jerrell, you wanted to say something?
No, I think you said enough. Not enough, but said what I wanted to say, I should say.
Salute to 2 Knicks chicks.
Hey.
Appreciate you dropping by. For those who haven't subscribed to the channel, check them out. I think they was live earlier today. So if you guys didn't catch them live, catch them on the replay game. Her and her mom, they do a good job.
For sure.
Yeah. All right. I only have one more question, and if you guys have something, you could talk about it. Since Grimes has been out of the starting lineup, he seemed to have kind of shrunk, so to speak. And I'm not, and maybe his minutes are the same, but he seems to be getting less minutes. His role seems to be smaller. Do you think he's where he's supposed to be in terms of his minutes and his role on the team? Do you have any concerns about his development? Yeah, just your overall thoughts on Grimes and moving to that second unit, and if you think it's hurt his confidence. Yeah, however you want to say about it.
For me, I don't think he shrunk. I think Grimes unfortunately looks the same. I don't think he grew either. That's maybe the problem. Yeah, Grimes looked kind of the same. I thought his confidence was kind of shaky before he lost his job, and that was the reason he lost his job in the first place. So I don't know. I just don't think he's ready, and he's at where he's supposed to be. He's on the bench. Like, I don't think he should be like situational, like I thought Sims or anything like that. But he should play his minutes. But Dante DiVincenzo has definitely been playing better and should be the starting two guard on his team right now.
Any concerns that this is stunting his development?
Nah, man. Grimes is still young. This is only his. We talked about how many games he actually played in the league. He's played 2 seasons in the league. He'd be all right. Like, it's a lot. Most guards with 2 years in is not starting. I don't think we drafted him to be like the bona fide starter as soon as he came into the league anyway. I still think that he is a Tibbs guy. He obviously plays defense and hustles and everything, but until he get all the other aspects of his game corrected, I think he should stay on the bench.
Okay. Geoff?
When my kids were little, we used to get stale bread and we'd go to the zoo, and in the zoo they had this pond at the back, and you'd throw the bread in the water, and the ducks and the turtles would be out there and they'd eat the food, right? And so it seems like DiVincenzo and Quickley are the ducks, and they just go and they grab that food before the turtle can even get a bite. And that turtle is the closest to, and you could throw that bread right at that turtle, but he ain't gonna get any of the food because the other ones are just hungrier and they go after it more, and they go out and they get it. And right now, Grimes isn't just going out and getting it. I think he's too passive. Even the other night, I mean, he took 7 shots. So his complaint was with the first unit he wasn't getting enough shots. Well, and then now he's in the second unit and he's not shooting the ball that well. I just think when he's out there, he's got to be aggressive. He's got to get the ball, catch it, and go. And just play ball. I think he's too much in his own head right now. I think he needs to just relax and let it fly. And and it's tough because we got about 800 guys who play the 2 spot, right? So the minutes are tough, and it's a dog eat dog world right now, and he's getting eaten. I mean, that's just all there is to it. And it's not that he's not a good player. That's not what I'm saying at all. I think he is a good player. But he's inexperienced compared to the guys who are in front of him, and it's hurting him for minutes, and that's got to be hard. I mean, here's a guy who was starting and was getting 27, 28 minutes a game last year, and now what is he playing, 18, 19 now, and that's lower because it was 23 or 24 before, so that total just keeps dwindling and dwindling. I still think he's our best on the ball perimeter defender, but the problem is he's giving us so little with the other parts of his game right now that it's tough to put him out there just to do that. I mean, I think that Thibodeau's almost made the calculus that, DiVincenzo's not as good on-ball defender, but he does all these other things for us that are making us play better. And that first unit, especially with iHeart inserted in, it's looked a small sample size, I admit, but looks fabulous. I mean, it just is popping out there, and it looks unstoppable in a way that it never did look like when Grimes was out there. And so, it's tough. As JJ said, he's got to find a rhythm, and he's not in a rhythm right now. And as Dr. Seuss once said, unslumping yourself is not easily done.
Yeah, I just, just don't lose his. I just don't want him to lose his confidence, and I feel like that's been a part of it. I think he's right where he should be, and I think that this is where he needed to be, coming off the bench, 18, 20 minutes a game, earning your time on the floor. That's how most rookies and second-year players. That's how it works, because of the lackluster, poor defense between RJ, Randle, and Brunson. I feel like he was thrust into duty, ahead of time, wasn't really ready as far as, contributing on the offensive end, but we needed, we needed somebody, next to Brunson, somebody that can defend the wing, right? Remember, there was times we had him on Siakam, Tatum, these big guys. And I think a lot of it was a function of the other three guys other than Mitch just were not good defenders. But I think where he is now is where he should be, and if we weren't a poor defensive team, this is where he would have started, on the bench, coming off, earning your time. So, I just hope he doesn't lose his confidence. It's hard to get a rhythm in that second unit also, playing with Quickley. So hopefully, I'm not giving up on him. I was speaking to somebody who will go nameless on the phone, who feels like Jerrell feels about Sims, that he shouldn't even be in the league. I was talking to somebody very knowledgeable. It's not like I was just talking to somebody off the street. Very knowledgeable, who feels like Grimes shouldn't even be in the league. He's just not, he's just not a good player. You can get those guys anywhere. I'm not there. I'm not there with Grimes. I think he's a good player. I think he's a solid player. I think he's going to continue to grow. I think there's always room in the league for somebody who can defend on the perimeter and can hit shots. Third year, but again, 2 years of game experience. If that, so he's
Freezy
still.
did call him a ham sandwich over a year ago, though.
Yeah, Freezy did call him a ham sandwich. So I think he's still coming in, coming into his own. I'm not giving up on him by any stretch. And I think this is another point, because I remember, I think it was 2 years ago, we kept saying, "Oh, if you want them a player to develop, just put him in a lineup, give him time, give him." Grimes has been in the lineup, and he's pretty much been the same. So the idea that you just got to give people minutes and they'll grow, I don't agree. I never did agree with it, and at least for Grimes, that hasn't been the case.
I call that Kevin Knox syndrome. That's what Fizdale did with Knox. Just put him out there 37 minutes a night.
Right.
Just hope that he gets better. That isn't how that works a lot of the times. I've always said that you get better in practice. I mean, that's where you apply your craft, and in the off season, really, that's the times. I mean, the games is winning time. You gotta put your best players on the floor. That's not the time to, try
Yeah.
and improve.
Right. Exactly. You can't blame him for Tibbs like his defense and putting him in the starting lineup so quick as a young player. And we can't forget he was in the starting lineup when he made the playoffs. How did that work out?
Yeah, so some can debate whether Grimes deserved that starting spot in the first place.
Well, he's certainly better than Fournier.
Yeah, some people like Fournier better than him, though. That's what I'm saying.
In the playoffs, though? Yeah, anyway.
Both players give something completely different than the other to me.
Right.
So just depends on what type of team you're on.
Right. And Grimes was overwhelmed in the playoffs. Him and Quickley were overwhelmed in the playoffs. And Quickley's injury took him out of his misery. I think defensively, though, Quick was okay. But offensively, he just wasn't. And it takes time for young players. So I'm not mad at him. Grimes' career, 44%, 38% is just as good as Quickley. Best year this one. Listen, this stats tell you one thing. Watching the game tells you about the impact. And Quickley has more of an impact on the game than Grimes, even if Grimes shoots better. So yeah, you want to say that Grimes is a better shooter than Quickley. All right, but who has the better impact? It's Quick.
Look at the on-off data for cleaning the glass, and then come back to me and tell me who you think's better.
Right.
Quickly,
I think you put it in the chat, right? Quick, can you share that with us, Jeff? The on-off. I think you said he was it 9 points or 6 points? Was it you or somebody else?
I remember that article, but I forgot the numbers. Right.
So the Knicks are better defensively, right? When IQ is on the floor. Yes, I've been watching IQ's defense, and some games he has bad games, no doubt about it. Grimes' defense hasn't been great these past few games either. I don't know if he's thrown off by the fact that he's playing on the second unit. Somebody went right to the basket. I said, what? What's going on?
Like, for some reason, we don't never mention when Grimes actually do be getting cooked sometimes.
Yeah, so Quickley is a good defender. Does he have bad games? Yes. Grimes is a good defender. Does he have bad games? Yes. They do. Yeah, no doubt about it. The whole team defense sucks. Okay.
That's not inaccurate.
I was about to say yeah.
Grimes has been getting blown by lately. I've seen that. I have definitely seen that. The NBA isn't waiting for anyone. Most guys aren't ready for the 82-game grind. It's more than talent, conditioning, studying the game. And you know what? I was thinking about this this morning. Shout out to you, Rebuild NYK. Hope all is well with you and your fam. I was thinking about this as well. Like you could look at the stats. That's cumulative, but it doesn't tell you when the person got those points, how they got those points, because where you get it in the game matters. Somebody getting garbage time points is one thing. Somebody getting points in the clutch, that just tells you something about, about the player, right? So Paris. Oh, we need to refrain from being too critical before January. Listen, Paris. I hope that refers to yourself too, because I've been in some of these other rooms and I've been hearing what you had to say about Randle. You've been coming real hard at Randle this year, so we need to refrain from being too critical of Randle before January. Paris. Thank you for the super chat, though.
But January is like next week, though.
Right. Oh boy. Anyway, anything else? Anything in the chat you guys want us to talk about? That's all I have for
maybe what we got coming up, like the games we got coming up.
Yeah, we have I wanted to share this. Because I got a chance to look at the Knicks open shots. I'm always like, what are we doing with our open shots? So right now the Knicks are ranked 6th in open shots. So 6 meaning open, meaning nobody within 4 to 6 feet of them when they shoot. So 28.5% of their shots are open. And so there's only 5 teams that have more open shots than the Knicks. 2-pointers, 7th. They're 7th in open 2-pointers, 13.3%. Charlotte is the top team in open 2-pointers at just 15.4%. And in open 3-pointers, we're ranked 10th. 15.2% of our 3-pointers are open. Boston is the top team. 20.5% of their threes are open, right? The Knicks are at 15, though, ranked 10th. So my point is the Knicks are getting they're in top 10 in open shots, 2s, 3s overall, whether they're getting it from ball movement or for the double team with Randle or for the drive and kick, the Knicks are getting open shots. As far as knocking those shots down, 2-pointers, they hit their open 2-pointers 54% of the time, which is ranked 23rd out of 30 teams. And they hit their open 3-pointers. Excuse me, that's not correct. On their open 2-pointers, they're shooting 54%. Is that the same thing? I think that might be the same thing. On whatever open 2-pointers they get, they're shooting 54%, which is ranked 23rd in the league. And on their open 3-pointers, they're shooting 38.5%, which is 3rd in the league. So they're really doing a good job in terms of getting open 3-pointers and hitting open 3-pointers, right? So I just thought that
was a team that doesn't run any offense.
Say that again?
Not bad for a team that doesn't run any offense.
And who guards don't pass the ball.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
Yeah. Paris Duggar says, we means we, and Randle has got my total praise. I guess we means me, he's trying to say. And Randle has got my total praise.
You was just crapping on Randle a couple weeks ago. It's all good, though. Telling us what Obi did in Indy like we care.
Right. We're a second half team, Brunson especially.
True.
That's true.
Yeah.
Interesting Obi fact. There's only one Indiana Pacer who's a minus on the floor in their entire rotation.
You don't say.
And that's who?
Obi.
Toppin.
Oh, okay.
Everybody else is positive.
Yeah. I mean, we know who Obi Toppin is, and it's just a matter of finding a fit, right? In Indiana, he's going to be able to take the 3. He's going to get more fast break opportunities.
And he's still a net negative.
He's not going to defend that well, and he's not going to rebound that well. I think he's averaging 3 rebounds a game. That's because Randle draws double teams a lot. Exactly, Quiet Money. That's my point exactly. The Knicks are getting open shots multiple ways.
Yep.
Which is why I'm great with ball movement, but I feel like the Knicks have this particular team has multiple ways to get open shots, and ball movement is just one of them.
I think RJ's free throw rate and ability to knock him down when he gets there has a lot to do with it too. I think that makes a difference because now you're having to guard RJ on the drive, and that opens up lanes for people too. And
Correct.
Brunson obviously does it as well. So, and now that we have iHeart and DiVincenzo in the starting lineup, that really makes it tough for teams because you really have to choose your poison in a way that you haven't had to before. And I think it's shown the last 2 games. I've been really impressed with that starting 5, what they've been able to do offensively has just been phenomenal. I'm looking forward to seeing if it continues, and I think it will.
Yeah, I'm looking at the pass percentage. So the pass percentage on drives. So DiVincenzo, and I'm only going on those that are in the rotation. DiVincenzo passes 56.6% of the time when he drives to lead the team. Quentin Grimes barely drives, but when he does, he passes 48.4% of the time. Yeah, but he's only got Grimes, they have it here, only 1.2 drives a game. But he passes 48% of the time. DiVincenzo just 2 drives per game. He passes 56.6% of the time. But let's move to those who are actually, getting more than 3 drives. Brunson leads the team in drives per game at 15.3. And he also leads the team in pass percentage off drives at 39%. Julius Randle is second. He takes 14.3 drives a game. He also passes 39%. Quickley takes 8.3 drives per game, and he passes 37% of the time. And Barrett takes 10 drives per game and passes 27% of the time. Now, I don't have the numbers in terms of where that ranks with other players. I just have the Knicks. But for somebody like Brunson, who's very efficient, he passes 39% of the time when he drives. That leads the team, So I don't know how much you want a really efficient player to pass off of their drives. I don't know. Okay. Anything else?
I said the schedule. Like we played Milwaukee twice.
We played yes.
Let's get at least one of those games.
Like we played 3 games before the next show.
Milwaukee,
and OKC.
OKC
on Wednesday. Yep. We got to deal with Chet.
The game at OKC last year, we won. That was fun.
Yeah, it was. We got to deal with Chet. Chet is a problem, man. He's a real problem. I like watching him play.
Chet's got to deal with iHeart.
That is true also, Geoff. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. SGA.
Yeah, Chet's good. I think Wembanyama's better, but Chet is good. Have you guys watched Victor at all?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. I love his game. Like he and as far as young players go, he and Banchero are like 2 of my favorite players to watch. Like I think their ceilings are going to be ridiculous. Like I thought Wembanyama was going to get pushed around but he's really impressed me. And he blocks shots. He makes some ridiculously good moves. They need guards, man. They don't have. He's like on an island where they have very little NBA talent other than him. It's kind of scary.
Oklahoma City is second in the Western Conference. Sorry, Jerrell. Second in the Western Conference. They've won their last 3 games.
Minnesota's still
first. Minnesota's first.
Still first.
They're 2 games behind Minnesota.
We have them in the not too distant future also. Like after we get done with our road trip, we get Minnesota at home.
New Year's Day.
Yeah. And then we got Indiana.
These over 500 teams. So in this 10-game stretch. So maybe we keep it up.
Yeah. We have Indiana too. Indiana and Orlando.
Yep. That's a lot of running. So, that's a tough stretch. But to be honest, they all tough stretches. It's the NBA. We've already had a tough schedule already. playing Milwaukee twice at home back to back like that, weird. Like, just weird scheduling.
I want one of those games though. Just get one. Hey, don't lose both those games, please. I just want to see him get one. Preferably the first one, because then it doesn't matter what they do on Christmas. Then Christmas is just like I'll be sweating it if we lose on Christmas Eve. Then I'm gonna be sweating that Christmas game. We already got a W and we're at 17-11. I'm still gonna be rooting, but if they lose, it's like no big deal. We already got the last one, but just be a better Christmas if they decide to win on the 23rd.
Yeah. Well, we'll get one of them, but let me tell you how tight. Orlando 16-11, the Knicks 16-11, Miami 16-12, Cleveland, who finally lost the game. I think they had won 2 and 3 in a row after the injury. Cleveland is 16-13, Indiana 14-13. It's gonna be
close after the All-Star break.
You can't afford losing streaks. That's all I'll say. You gotta find a way at least stay 500 or better during the stretch.
Yep, and you never know who's gonna make a move. Like it's gonna come down.
Oh no, that's not. Ajay, shout out to Ajay, who couldn't be with us today. Chilling with the fam. We're winning both games, not one of them, both.
You know, Ajay was gonna say that.
Oh.
I think it's funny. He's like, I can't come on. I got company. He's been here the whole time.
Yep. Salute to Ajay in the chat.
Right. He's
been with us the whole time.
He said he was going to be listening in his
But I say, Ajay, call in.
All right, let me put the I don't know if he's gonna call in, but I'll put the number up.
Call in, man. Might as well as after 11 o'clock, get your bars off.
Could talk about Bam Adebayo.
Right?
All right. Anything else? Anybody else?
I just want to say thanks for hosting and having us on the panel every Thursday. It's an amazing, fun time. I always enjoy it. It's great to be part of such an awesome community. The chat, you guys are the best in the business. I don't care what anybody says. Jerrell is always a blast, man. And I just, for those of you who celebrate Christmas, have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Be safe.
Yeah, there you go.
Call from
AJ.
Here we go.
Here we go, AJ.
Couldn't help it.
Listen. Yeah, what's up, y'all?
We good. How you doing?
No, seriously, I've been here the whole time with my earpiece on, and like there's a lot of us. I have to hide. I have to run. Like I'm in a garage right now, so there's like 10 people in my house. They were drinking.
That's what's up.
Like,
He's still thinking Knicks, though. That's crazy.
They picked the wrong day,
show
right?
as usual, man. Yeah, the wrong day. Salute to you guys, man. I missed this show. It was a great show as usual. And Chad, man, hit that like button on the way out, man. Don't forget that, man. You know. Listen,
Anything?
we went in both games.
Okay.
We went in both games. I don't know what y'all talking about, man. Milwaukee's about to go down. They're going down.
That's what's up.
Your lips to God's ears, AJ. That's all I'll say about that. We win both games, I'll be ecstatic. Even DJ Shuttle if we win both those games.
No, me and Shuttle, we right on line that one. I'm telling you, we're gonna put on the show on Christmas Day. We're gonna let the world know we here. Like for real. So yeah. I know, Yanni's gonna complain, Julius Randle too physical and all that good stuff. You think Julius Randle, he's just running everybody over right now. And we're gonna keep doing that for the next couple of days.
No doubt. He put 41 on Milwaukee. We just need, everybody else to show up that game as well.
Yeah, listen, man. I'm telling you, I have a feeling we're gonna win both games. Man. I don't know listen. We're gonna win both games.
Okay.
We're on a good vibe right now. We got good momentum right now. And I'm glad we beat up Brooklyn.
Oh,
with no problem. Without breaking a sweat.
I knew you was happy about that. Yeah,
Oh,
whoever's
yeah. Oh, yeah.
calling, if you can wait till we're off the line with this caller, because there's no way we can hold. We can't put you on hold.
Yeah,
So
well, no, go take
but
Jericho.
no. I
I'm
wanted
here
to ask you a
listening.
question. Was there anything
Sure,
we
sure.
discussed today that you wanted to give your take on? Was there something where you was in the back like, I don't believe this shit right here?
Well, there was a lot of things, man. That's why I'd be on the show. That's why there's a lot of things. You know what? I should have been taking notes because there's a lot of stuff that especially in the chat, because I wasn't on the panel, so I was reading the chat.
Right.
I'm like, man, some of these chats, they're crazy out there. What are they talking about, man? I mean, they're talking about Brunson, and Becky Hammon. Yeah, man, listen. I posted. I wrote something on the chat. I said, listen. The Pistons didn't have that dude. They had 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, and 1E on that team. All right? They had a whole bunch of guys. It wasn't a lot of drop-off in terms of talent and importance to the team. That's why they were able to win. Because sometimes those teams, they have two greatly talented guys and then a bunch of role players. You have one guy, all he can do is rebound. You have one guy, all he can do is shoot three. You have one guy, all he can do is, I don't know, set picks. I don't know, whatever. But, sometimes, listen, it doesn't happen often, but you can win, without having that dude. You know what I'm saying? It's not impossible. It's very hard and it's very rare, but it can happen. This is the NBA. All these guys are professionals. All it takes is these guys, you take a couple of games where Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle is on their game. Listen, man, there's not a lot of people in the league that could stop those two guys, man. Not a lot of people. We've seen them play. When these guys are on their game, we see Julius Randle, man. When the game's slowing down even more for Julius. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
Mm-hmm.
It's even slower for him now. It's almost like when he shoots the ball, sometimes he doesn't even go for the rebound because he's like, that's going in. You know what I'm saying? So he doesn't even try to follow to grab the rebound. He already knows, he's seen that a million times already. He's like, well, I know that one's good. He started walking away. So listen, we're not a great team, but we're not a terrible team. Okay, the Knicks fans just stick with it, enjoy the moment, enjoy it for what it is. It could be a game where everybody stinks. But it could be a game. It could be a whole series where everybody's on their game and nobody can stop us, man.
Yeah.
Nobody can stop us.
Ajay, real quick, what do you think about RJ's play lately?
I don't know. Listen, I know all I know is Geoff was saying RJ is a half. So listen, we don't have a big three, we have a big 2.5. So he basically said RJ is a half. Listen, RJ. If RJ don't play, RJ he hasn't been terrible.
True.
He hasn't, but he's not. He's starting to get into what he is. Listen, we want him to be he's the third pick. We want him to be a superstar. He's not. He's just not. He's gonna. And Queen, I think he said that many times. We have to accept RJ for who he is. He's a good ball player. Listen, if you make it to the NBA, you're one of the best in the world. Right. That's for sure. Right? But he's not RJ. He's not going to be an all-star. He's not going to be a superstar. He's not going to be. He's going to. If he could be consistent, if he could give you, and I don't want RJ to give me 22 points, on inefficient nights. I'm perfectly fine with RJ Barrett giving me 15, 16 points, on 45, 48% shooting from the field. You know what I'm saying? I don't want 25 points from 30% shooting. You know what I'm saying? So low usage rate and better percentage. If we get that from RJ Barrett, we're going to be in great shape, especially with guys like DiVincenzo and, obviously Hart now is going to be starting at center, so he can score. He's not a non-scorer like Mitchell Robinson is. So, if we can get a little consistency from RJ Barrett, I think we'll be all right.
Listen. Julius Caesar said it. We're a good team, but keeping it a buck, After all this time, a good team is not good enough. I
Mm.
don't know about you, the Aj, the panel, the chat. How many of these players, how much longer are we going to keep waiting for these players to come along and get better?
Listen,
And at what point do we have to say they're pretty much near their ceiling? Like, how much more are we getting out of Grimes? And I'm asking the question. How much more are we getting out of Grimes? How much more are we getting out of Quick? Well, I think we can probably get a little more out of Quick. But just from your perspective, how much more are we getting from the players on this team, in your opinion? And you could pick one or two of them.
No, and I'll even go broader. I'll pick all of them. Out of Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson, anybody on that team can go if the right deal comes along. Because RJ Barrett, I think RJ Barrett is where he's going to be. I mean, the best we can get out of him is a little bit more efficiency. I don't think, obviously RJ Barrett, he's not going to be that baller. That's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So, Immanuel Quickley, like you said, we could probably get a little more out of him I think you mentioned that earlier too. The last game, he came in, he started shooting, started going crazy. Then he settled in the second half. You know, he started to play the game really the way, let the game come to him. You could probably get a little more out of him. Quentin Grimes, it's up in the air. Like this season, I had much higher hopes for Quentin Grimes. But it just hasn't happened to the point where he's relegated to the second unit, which is not bad. Like he seems to be a little bit more comfortable there. If anything, I think we could probably certain guys like Steven Chenzo, we could probably get more out of him because I think the more touches he gets, the more rhythm he gets, the more comfortable he gets in the system, we could probably get more consistent, high-scoring games out of him. Josh Hart is a little bit suspect this season, so I don't know. Like last year, we agreed. We thought the signing was good. Right now, we got to wait to see what happens this season. I can't say this season, looking at Josh Hart right now, because signing him long term was a good idea. I'm not saying it was a bad idea. I don't know that it was a good idea. We got to see what happens this season. But all those guys, I think, they're not gonna. If they're not at their ceiling, they're very close to the ceiling. They're very close to where they're gonna be. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, you have some good nights where they look like they could go further, but you'll have some bad nights where you be like, this guy, like some people might tell you RJ is a bust. I don't think he's a bust because he's an average player. He's not a terrible player. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of those guys, I think they're very close, if not at their ceiling. So if the right deal comes along, happy trails.
And I still think RJ Barrett is playing better, even though he's not efficient. I just still think the way I know I say the same thing all the time. His floor game, his processing speed, him driving and looking for people. Like I think it was at the Laker game in that fourth quarter. Was it the Lakers or another game when he hit Grimes for two wide open shots that Grimes hit? RJ Barrett generated that off of the driving kick. And then when he does get fouled, he goes to the foul line and he's hitting it at over 80%. So even when he's not efficient, I still feel he's a better player than he was last year.
He is. He certainly is. And like I said, he's a good player, but he's not what we as Knicks Nation, as fans, we want this guy. We think this guy's going to be an all-star. We think he's going to be this great, wonderful, go-to guy. He's just not going to be. He's going to be a good player, a very good player at times. But I don't know. Will he ever make the All-Star team? I don't think so. I don't think he's going to get that bonus. So.
Yeah. I'm yeah. I'm not gonna bring that out. I'm not gonna call quiet money out. About Brunson and his brand or whatever. I ain't gonna call him out. But go ahead.
No, because I'm reading the chat. I was like, Nick Yak shout out to Nicky. I said Hart was excellent yesterday. Yeah, he's gonna have some good games. He's gonna have some excellent games. He's got some games where you're like, what was he doing out there? Like, why did Tom Thibodeau leave him out there? Same thing with RJ Barrett. Some games or some time, some portion of the game, you're like, why is RJ Barrett still out there? You know what I'm saying? But you say that about most players, but certain players like Brunson and Randle, even when they're messing up, you like, yeah, leave him out there. Let him get in rhythm, because you know at some point they're gonna do something good. They're gonna help the team out. But the other guys, you don't know. Sometimes they just go downhill fast and just keep going. You know, that includes DiVincenzo. Sometimes DiVincenzo have games when he has games where he can't miss, and sometimes he's out there, he's all over the place. He's like, what? I mean, this guy, he's almost like doing cardio. You know, he's just all over like a ping pong ball.
Right.
He's just bouncing all over the place, not doing anything.
Yeah.
So,
Quiet Money, let me know if it's okay to post your comments and get feedback from the panel. Yeah. Yeah, well, I guess if you put something up in the chat, you got to know that it's up. Is
Yeah, I
live.
just haven't been keeping up with it.
So Quiet Money says that he feels like the Knicks front office purposely avoided two major players in order to make sure Brunson was brought in and able to build his brand. I'm not with that because it's sabotage.
Who's the two players?
And
who was the two players? Q, put them in the chat.
Right, who was the two players?
Donovan Mitchell's probably one of them.
Right. But they brought Brunson here to help the team win or to build his brand.
Yeah, I don't agree with that statement.
Now you could say maybe maybe by building his brand, maybe he was talking maybe because of the relationship he has with Tibbs and Leon Rose before he got here. I don't know about brand, but yeah, they did bring him over here. You know, it was like preconditioned. Like it was that I felt that Jalen Brunson was always going to come here because of the relationships with, the coach and the GM. So other than that, I don't know about the brand stuff, but yeah, they wanted him here because of that. It was a relationship type stuff.
Right. So we could have had
better.
But
they not.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. That's something. They're not going to hurt the team just to help one guy build his brand. I mean, that's not.
But that's not even Brunson. Brunson is not coming to the Knicks to build his brand, and there's no front office bringing in a player in to help him build it. I don't care if it's my son. You're not coming in here to build your brand. You're coming in here to help this team win. I mean, come on. I have issues with the front office. But I don't think they would bring him in just to build his brand. Like, we don't even care if whether you help us win or not. This is your opportunity to get in fashion and get into the music industry and whatever it is you want to do and build up your brand. Not really about winning. We could have had better players that would have made the team eat. Like who? You see what is DeJounte Murray making Atlanta better? Now, I would like to have DeJounte Murray next to Brunson, but you're trying to tell me that DeJounte Murray instead of Brunson, we would have got to the second round of the playoffs and within 2 games of the Eastern Conference. I'm just not buying it.
Yeah, no.
But what do you guys think? That's just my.
He said Donovan Mitchell and Tyrese Halliburton.
So the Knicks purposely didn't go. Relax. I don't think the
Tyrese Halliburton was never Tyrese Halliburton was never on the Knicks. Like they didn't draft him, and when he was traded from OKC, Sacramento, from
the Kings,
Sacramento. I don't. It was almost like a secret deal. Like nobody knew about this. It's like we wake up one day and then boom. It's like, wait a minute, we didn't even know he was available to be traded.
Right.
Like because he was already playing well. It's like who's crazy enough to deal that guy? We didn't think Sacramento was going to do that.
Right. And you would have gave up Randle in that deal because that's who they would have wanted.
Yeah.
right?
So don't-
So
they got
Brunson
to
had nothing to do with Halliburton. Halliburton was a trade. Halliburton and Brunson could play together because Brunson could play on or off the ball.
And they
So
didn't. I was about to say, I'm sorry.
no, they wanted a power forward. So you would have gave up. That has nothing to do with Brunson. You would have gave up Randle because that's what they wanted. They wanted a big.
And an all-star big.
Maybe they would have taken. Maybe they would have taken Obi.
I don't know if they would have taken it. I don't know if
Obi.
Yo, that's funny. We
have
drafted.
you ever seen Brunson come on, Quiet Money. You got come on. You don't like the guy. Now you're talking about a brand. He had how many players have commercials?
Quiet Money.
How many players have commercials?
Yeah,
Come on.
I saw Julius Randle on a hood of a car the other day.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Listen, if you want to talk about he don't pass, no, he don't. Okay, fine. But the brand stuff, and he was in a commercial, and they brought him here for his brand, and we could have had better players than him. Brunson had nothing to do with Halliburton.
Yeah, but I mean, newsflash, man. Listen, believe it or not, most of those NBA guys are in commercials. Like in their local market, you see the Brunson commercial. You don't see it outside of New York.
Right.
But you see, like all those guys, they have commercials. They have, in their market, in their local market, they're all on TV. So it doesn't make a difference whether he's here or Billy's Brown or whatever. And he was already making noise when he was in Dallas playing next to Luka. I don't think, he was playing next to Luka. You're making all that noise. It really, Halliburton or Donovan Mitchell would have slow you down. I don't think so. I mean, he's going to build his brand anyway, whatever brand means. I don't see him trying to build his brand. This guy, he's playing ball. He's focused on playing ball right now.
When Halliburton was he was on our board, the Knicks could have took him. He was on the board, the Knicks could have took him. He was there at 8.
And Brunson wasn't even
in the picture at that
point.
point.
Brunson wasn't on the team at that point.
We could have drafted we definitely could have drafted Halliburton. But again, Quiet Money, that has nothing to do with Brunson. The Knicks could have drafted Halliburton straight up with the 8th pick.
Right. Yeah, and what did that have to do with Brunson? Listen, I think
instead of Obi, absolutely, they could have. Absolutely.
That just means
they had their mindset on Brunson, and that's what they went with. They were focused. They were zoned in on Brunson. That's what they were going to do.
And you know what?
And we've seen them do that.
It was the right choice. To me, it was the right. They zoned in on the right guy. I don't even think they knew what they were getting in Brunson.
Yep.
Because if so, we would have messed it up. All right, we got somebody. All right, Ajay, we gotta let you go. Caller, call back.
Thank you, man, guys. I miss you guys. Let them talk, man. I'm listening in.
Okay.
There's a lot of noises. I'm coming out of my I'm going back into the house.
All right.
But I'm listening.
All right. Happy holidays to you and the fam.
Yeah, have a good night, bro.
Good night, bro. You. All right, thank you guys. All right, good night.
All right, caller, you can call back now. Call back. You can call back now.
Yeah, the Halliburton talk is a sour spot for me, man. I think the Knicks just didn't. It was just bad.
Here
they come. Okay, here we go.
Call from. To accept, press 1. To send a.
This might be my food. Hello?
How are you doing today?
We good. How are you? What's your name and where you calling from?
Good. Yo, can we trade Aaron for Scotty Barnes?
What's your name, sir, and where you calling from?
I'm from Brooklyn.
Okay.
What was your question?
Yeah, can we trade RJ, Grimes, Randle, and Brunson for Scotty Barnes?
Nah, bro. I don't think we're gonna do that.
Yeah, he trolling.
I know.
We first of all, we can't make a trade with Toronto. We're literally suing them right now. They're not doing business with us.
Yeah, don't even take his questions there. He trolling. He trolling. Anybody else? Somebody else called in. You could call right back.
I say, especially the way Scotty Barnes is playing right now. No.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm just
Hell no.
saying, any deal with Toronto.
Call from.
Al.
Yeah.
To accept, press 1.
Hello, caller. What's your name and where you're from?
Hi, this is Al from New Jersey.
Yes. How are you?
Good. Nice to hear from all of you, and thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome. What's on your mind today?
You guys were talking about RJ and whatever, and I would like to know if, since we have this Mitchell Robinson problem, and maybe we could try to reach out to some teams. I request maybe if the Knicks could reach out to Chicago and put a package of maybe RJ and Sims and maybe whatever else for Drummond and DeRozan.
Oh, I was about to say that's a lot for Drummond. Okay. No, I didn't hear about DeRozan. I didn't hear the DeRozan piece. Go ahead.
Yeah, DeRozan. A package of the RJ, Sims, and I don't know, draft picks for Drummond and DeRozan. For me, DeRozan, I know he's old, but he's going to give you what RJ is not going to give you now. If we are planning to want to get a, if we are planning to want to get a, are you there?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. If you're wanting to get, something for the season, then we have to make a move.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to make something for the season, then we just hold tight and wait for the off season to see what's available in the off season.
Right.
I don't know. What do you think?
For me, it's an age issue.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely like DeRozan over RJ Barrett if he was like, say, 30 years old. I think he would fit within the timeline with Randle and Brunson. He doesn't stretch the floor, but neither does RJ Barrett really. He can get to his spots. He's probably just as good a defender.
Mid-range assassin.
Yeah, he can get to his shots in the mid-range, like Jerrell said. My only issue is RJ is like 23. So you're going to trade RJ for DeRozan and get like maybe 3 years, 4 years max? You willing to do that?
At this point, I mean, it's now year 4 of this thing. And what gets me mad is, and I know people like to, defend Tibbs, but Tibbs really does not develop young players.
Mm-hmm.
And, if we're looking for something for this year to see what we could match up and then, then throw the dice in the off season, then yes, maybe we could do something like that. If not, if you don't want to trade RJ and not get DeRozan, then maybe definitely we should go after Brunson. After Drummond, because we definitely need a big. Our problem is we are small. Even with Ihart. I mean, Ihart is nice. He's a good hustler. He's a great player. He's a smart player, but he's small. And we still, even though he hustles and he gets us rebounds, but he's not a shot blocker as much. People are not going to be intimidated from him.
Mm-hmm.
And if we keep Drummond, then you could figure if we keep back the same unit. Then you have Drummond on the second unit with Ihart as the power forward. Subbing for Randle, and then that second unit I think will be better. And I'm gonna let you guys let you go so you could discuss it. Thank you much, and have a happy Christmas.
Same to you.
Same to you.
Same to you. Thanks for the call.
Word up.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't. I like both players coming back. I don't know how much, just because, like you said, stuck with the age issue, how many, draft picks I'm trying to give up for that package, though. And it would have to be something other than Sims. Like, they're going to want something other than just RJ and Sims. Like,
yeah, I think when it comes to RJ and Quick, I'm okay with trading them. I would just want younger players.
Right.
in return. What you guys thoughts on that?
Like that's supposed to be like the Brandon Ingram trade or the OG
Right, young
Anunoby
veterans.
trade. You know, OG Anunoby, Brandon Ingram. You know, players that we've mentioned countless times on this show, but maybe not. You know, that age, not DeRozan. Like
My issue with DeRozan though too is that he's been around a long time and he's not a playoff proven winner either. I mean, Toronto had a lot of clunkers with DeRozan. I just don't think I don't think that's the move you make because I don't think it elevates your team. I'm just not sure that it elevates your team come postseason unless DeRozan finds something that he hasn't really had before.
I will say this though, Geoff. We're not asking him to be the main guy.
Right. He was the number one on those teams.
Yeah, he wouldn't be the number one here.
He'd be number 3.
Yeah. So I think he would be in a different role, just like Gordon on Denver. As a number 1, he really couldn't do it in Orlando, but as the number 3, he was really good for them.
The Bulls just ended their game with the Spurs. Let me get some stats off for the 2 players we talking about. DeMar DeRozan played 36 minutes, 21 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. And Drummond actually played 19 minutes, 12 points, and 8 rebounds off the bench.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm okay. How many 3-point? He's only taking like 1 or 2. How many 3-point? He takes like 1 or 2.
Yeah, I don't even gotta look that one up, Steph. He's not a 3-point shooter.
He's not, but he's shooting a good percentage and he's taking like 1 or 2 a game.
Hold on real quick.
Yeah, he's not. You're right. The volume is not there, but he's taking like 1 or 2 a game and he's shooting it decently. But for me, it's the age and the fact that the Knicks are not that close.
You're definitely right. He's actually shooting more and at a higher percentage. Like he's almost shooting 3 a game now, 2.6, and his percentage is 35, almost 36.
Yeah. Yeah.
From 3.
Yeah. Yeah. But I agree with Geoff in the sense that if I'm trading Quick or RJ, I want a young vet. I want a young vet with some, because look, even if we get Ingram, we don't know if like we say, where are we going with DeRozan? Where are we going with Ingram? We don't know. You know what I mean? We don't know, but we just know we have time to figure it out.
And I just think Ingram is a more natural fit for this club than DeRozan is. Just my personal opinion, but
especially for the age and stuff. You're right.
You know, age and his game too. I just think that.
But what would be different, Geoff, between if you took out RJ, and you put in DeRozan? What would be different? He would still be operating in the same area that RJ operated in, which is in the key. I mean,
yeah, but you're coming from someone who believes that the fit is clunky to begin with. Now, it may not be as bad because he hits his shots in there. So I don't know how I don't know how to compute the calculus of that because he is very good at the mid range, like elite scorer in the mid range. So that part of it would give me hope. I don't know, like, I don't know why, but I just don't feel like adding DeMar DeRozan puts us over the top of Boston and Milwaukee.
No.
And
so but neither does Ingram, though.
Neither does Ingram. Okay. All right.
Neither does Ingram.
We close to where Ingram, though.
I think to me, DeRozan is not the star. Like for me, I feel the Knicks need to make 2 upgrades if they can. One, just a regular upgrade, and the other one, a star upgrade. I agree with you, Geoff. DeRozan is not the star upgrade.
Yeah, no.
He not this. He would just be Oh no,
Yeah. We agree on that.
We agree on that. He would just be the little upgrade. Like if we got OG wouldn't be the star that's gonna make us better than
Right.
He would just be the little upgrade while we're waiting, where we get a little better while we're waiting for a star to fall from the sky.
To land right in our lap.
That's how the Knicks front office is operating, by the way.
Pretty much, yeah.
They have their hat out. Is it coming? No.
Right.
Hasn't come today.
We will never draft him, Jeff. We will never draft him.
Julius says Ingram, JB, and Randle gives us a puncher's chance.
I like that 3, to be honest. But we'll see.
It's impossible to have Ingram, Randle, and Brunson sacrifice. I think Brunson would take a step back. I think Brunson is scoring because we need him to. I think if this team was packed with guys who knew how to play, who wasn't young and inconsistent, I could really see Brunson taking a step back offensively. You guys, or not really?
Yeah, from scoring, definitely. I think he'll up his assist up a little bit. And Ingram and Randle have played together before, but they just weren't at this stages of their career. So I really don't know how that dynamic worked. But like if Ingram is coming here, I don't know. I don't expect that he would think that is his team. You know what I'm saying? Like I think he would know that he's going to be like a number 2 or number 3.
Yeah. Somebody, wow, they're coming in really fast. I'm losing them.
Mm-hmm.
Paris. So Ingram is going to play second fiddle to Randle. Well,
I mean,
I think they would just play off of each other.
Right. He playing second fiddle to Zion. I don't see the difference when Zion is playing. So,
and I don't really feel like Randle is like, I have to be
right
the number 1. Like, I don't see that from Randle. I kind of feel like Brunson came along and it was almost a relief to him, like that he doesn't have to have that mantle all to himself, that he can kind of have someone else to operate and make his life easier. And if you give him 2 somebodies that do that, I don't think he's going to have a problem with it. I think he's just going to feast. Like, his game's just, in other words, the less double teams you can throw at him, the easier his life is going to be. So, I don't know. I like that trio. I
love
like
it. I know he's going to play his 48 games a season, but listen.
Hey, Steph, I'm looking, don't knock on wood. I'm looking at his stats right now. He's 25. He started 25 games so far.
Okay.
What are his counting stats? Just out of curiosity in the first
23.5%. I mean, points a game, shooting 50% from the field, 33% from 3. So the 3 is not falling for him like it did last year. Last year he was at 39%.
Wow.
But he's shooting 50% overall, and I'm okay with that.
Free throws?
Free throws, 81. He's always been a good free throw shooter, though. It's always been.
And he's good for assists too, right?
Assists 5 a game, average.
From your small forward position, you're getting 5 from Randle at the power forward position.
Double what Barrett gives us.
So he's pretty much averaging 24, 5, and 5, shooting 50% from the field and 81% from the free throw.
Yeah, sign me up for that.
Yeah, no doubt.
No wonder you're on this wagon.
Yeah.
That's
and he's really good in the mid range too, Jeff.
Yep.
That mid range jumper. Whew.
And he's actually staying healthy this year. Knock on wood. Hopefully it stays that way.
Harris, why would you want Brunson to take a step back? He's a top 3. He could still be clutch.
Yeah, and plus the playoffs is a little different too.
Right. Yeah. He could still be clutch. By that I just mean pick his spots more. Like he doesn't have to come out of the gate gunning, looking for his shot. You got Randle, you got Ingram.
He doesn't have to do it as often. He has more energy to do it when he needs it. You know what I mean? Not that he wears out, but I would have to think that if he I know for a fact that the games that he seems to do best is when Randle is cooking in the first half and he can just kind of let Randle do his thing and dominate. And then when Randle, when it comes fourth quarter time, you can put the ball in his hands and he's just, he does his thing because he hasn't had to do it for, all 4 quarters. That's what made the Miami series so incredible. I mean, here he was the whole time and pressed and trapped and doubled and throwing the kitchen sink and the dishes and the refrigerator and everything else. And he's just like, I don't care. I'm going to score anyway.
Yeah. I think New Orleans would probably want to get rid of. I don't know. You think they would want to get rid of Zion before Ingram?
The way the Zion been looking.
Oh, they're looking like the.
You might have a point.
Brisket.
Might have a point.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but Brandon Ingram here would be different. I can't even imagine what type of shots he'll get.
Any shot he want.
That's what I'm saying. Like with Brunson and Randle on his team, like he could get any shot he want to then.
Paris, have you been watching Ingram? Where are the Knicks playoffs? Where are the Knicks playoffs? Okay. Ingram has played in the playoffs twice, and he's played very well. We act like we have all of this playoff experience, and so we need guys with, who can match us in playoff experience. The bottom line is if we get Levine, he doesn't have a lot of playoff experience. If we were able to trade for SGA, not that we will, they're second in the West, he doesn't have a lot of playoff experience. Unless you're going to trade for somebody old, like a DeRozan, they're not going to have a lot of playoff experience. We had an opportunity to get a young vet with a lot of playoff experience and Donovan Mitchell, and it didn't happen. That doesn't come around often. It just doesn't.
That's why, and to be honest, we don't usually talk about players with playoff experience or good playoff experience because they won't be available anyway.
That's true.
Like that's why we have to bring up like OG Anunoby, Brandon Ingram, a couple other wings. They're not going to be good in the playoffs like in their career because they're too young and they haven't done anything yet.
Right.
BI is the truth because Jerrell a Carolina fan and he's
right.
Well.
If I speak highly of a Dookie,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what got me.
Yeah, that's how I know the chat don't know me. The chat don't really know me. I don't speak highly of Dookies very often. Like is Brandon Ingram, Jason Tatum, Kyrie Irving, of course. It's some people that you just can't hate on because you'd be like if you're a basketball fan. Yeah. Trevor Keels. Yeah, but I don't be giving Dookies praise like that, man. I'm a Carolina fan.
Right. What y'all think about Andrew Wiggins? Andrew just makes too much money for me. But go ahead, Jerrell.
Didn't he just get benched too? I think Andrew Wiggins
he's coming off the bench.
Yeah, so
he was making $10 million to come in and play defense and shoot threes and be like a cog off of our yeah.
For that price, we might as well just keep RJ and ride with it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
But Tibbs would love Andrew Wiggins though.
Yeah, somebody said that in the chat.
Might be AF, I don't know. That's definitely Andrew Wiggins is definitely a Tibbs dude. I could definitely see that.
Yeah. Oh, here it is. Almighty finesse. Tibbs would love Wiggins. Yeah.
And he does fit. It's just that price tag and
he fits.
He definitely fits.
So we can pay Ingram $35 million and sign Quickley. Which one do you want? Not get him Ingram.
Oh, get Brandon Ingram.
Yeah.
I think people need to watch New Orleans a little bit more.
Yeah. No doubt.
I'd trade too quickly for Brandon Ingram.
Quickley would be going out in that deal.
What?
Yeah.
I slingshot him to New Orleans so fast for Brandon Ingram.
You'd drive him to the airport, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and I'm not a Quickley hater at all. Like I like Immanuel Quickley, but for Brandon Ingram, yeah, slingshot.
Yeah, Zion is have we seen Zion lately? Have you seen Zion lately? I don't know if I'm gonna say he's a better defender than Randall. Whew.
Yeah.
Marketing. What do you think about marketing?
Laurie's a good player.
As
I don't
for
think he's
him, like,
coming here.
yeah.
I don't want to deal with Ainge.
Yeah. I like marketing. The thing about it is we would have to pay star assets for him, but he wouldn't be the star. You know what I mean? He would be that side upgrade that I've been talking about. He wouldn't take us over the top.
Nah.
But I like him. I like his game.
Yeah, he's nice.
You know.
We'll never get him though. Geoff is right.
Yeah. We'll never get him. Anything else before we get out of here? I think I said that like a half hour ago.
Hey man, salute to the chat, man. You always jumping. It's almost 12 o'clock. Y'all still talk about Knicks, man. That's how passionate we are as fans, man. Every week.
Stop, Paris. Go ahead.
That was my favorite part of the show right there. That was my favorite part of the show. Just stop, Paris.
Wiggins just got benched because he's doing nothing.
He said Ingram was how is Brandon Ingram garbage?
And Wiggins isn't. And Wiggins had one good playoff year with Golden State in the playoffs. Stop. Yeah. Anyway, Paris, you gotta. Sometimes the fans say things in here that just makes you wonder if they watch the games.
And hit the like button. Hit the like button, people.
Yeah. We're gonna try this one more time. Any last words? I'm not putting anything else up on the I'm not even looking at the chat other than the quiet money is nothing but love. Nothing but love. Agree or disagree. Nothing but love. I just want some respect for my guy who balled out in the playoffs. That's all.
QM, call in next time, bro. You was great last time.
Yeah, definitely call in.
Hop on the show, yo. Hop on the show. You was great.
Yeah, I dropped the link earlier too. Shout out to go ahead.
I was about to say somebody just came in and said trade RJ. Yeah, stop the show. Stop the show. We gonna be here all night.
Right.
Oh no!
Right.
We'll be here all night.
I think that was AJ.
Who's the D Block 1755? You just came in here and said trade RJ.
Right. Shout out to the chat. Enjoy the holidays. Mega Almighty Finesse, Alberto Ramos, Julius Caesar, Quiet Money, Sherwin, who was in here. Sherwin, nothing but love, even though we disagree. Still trying to get some respect for my guy. That's all. Who else I'm missing? I'm not gonna get to everybody. David L, Nick Yak, Kevin Cox was in here earlier. Paris, Mike Boy, Julius Caesar, very active tonight. Michael Sharon. I think I said Nick Yak.
You've been getting it done a lot lately. I've been seeing them all over NBK.
Wiz, appreciate you. Rebuild NYK. Mega, of course. AJ calling in, fam. Paris, appreciate the super chats. Yep.
Salute to Julie real quick. He just reminded me, vote. We didn't talk about the all-star voting. Vote for our guys to get in.
Yeah. I did I almost forgot, but I got it in today. I'm voting every day. And today was the first day I did not vote for anybody who could get in the way of Randall.
Oh, you just hating. You just with the hating?
Because I was doing JB and Halliburton the first 2 days, and I was like, nah. I'm doing JB.
I respect that.
And what's the Charlotte guard? Rozier.
Yo.
I don't want to put nobody in that's gonna compete with Brunson.
That's funny, yo. That's funny. She voted for Terry Rozier out of spite. That's great.
You know,
That's funny.
Randall. I put Randall. I think Kyle Kuzma. Like, no.
Kyle Kuzma.
Well, you just vote for all 5 Knicks, and then you don't have to worry. That's what I did.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. That's what I'm.
You're about to say you can't vote for RJ that bad, Steph?
No, I wasn't. I didn't even. I didn't even think that. I didn't even think that. That's a great point. So I'll do all 5 Knicks, going forward. And on the West, I'm pretty true on the West in terms of
What are your 5 on the West? Just that, right quick.
It changes every day, but it's been Luka. I did Shai Alexander. Today I did Luka and Anthony Edwards. I've done the Joker all 3 days. Today I did Towns. I forgot all about Towns because I don't really care nothing about the Knicks. I just be doing the first. I said, let me scroll down. And so I said, look at Towns. They in first place. So I put Towns in. I think one day I put in AD. I think I even gave Brandon Ingram a vote. I don't remember all 9 that I voted for over the 3 days, but I mix it up. I mix it up a little.
I did Shai, Ant, Kawhi.
Kawhi. I did him once. Yeah,
I love Kawhi. I'm a Kawhi Leonard guy. I have always. I did Wembanyama and trying to think the other one. I can't think of the other one, but
yes, you can vote every
Joker.
24 hours.
Yeah,
the Joker. Yeah, you can vote every 24 hours. Yeah, no doubt.
Every 12 in Chicago.
I might vote for Chet. Since just because Geoff voted for Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, Chet ain't getting no love. He out there busting.
Chet ain't getting no love, man.
He out there busting it. He had 7 blocks the other night.
Right between SGA being SGA and Josh Giddey, with the scandal he got going on. Nobody talk about Chet Holmgren, man. Yeah, last game I watched him, he played yesterday. He had like 20-something, 7 and 6. Like he's always been steady, and he had a couple blocks in there. Like he's good.
No. He more than good. He good. He in the running for Rookie of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an automatic that Wembanyama is gonna.
I actually think he's number 1 for now.
Yeah, but Wemby ain't got no support. Chet's got a good team around him.
Completely different, right? The Spurs might mess around and get the number 1 pick again.
Detroit is a thing, though.
We ain't talking about Detroit. I don't know what Monty Williams is doing. A lot of people talk about play the kids. You see what the kids is doing in Detroit?
But they getting that experience, though.
That is true. That is true.
They getting that experience, though.
That is true.
They developing.
Everybody picked in like the top 12 or whatever in the draft. They hold starting 5 and like a couple people off the bench. They got like the youngest team in the league. They stink.
Right. And what are you learning? You're learning how to lose. I like what Houston did. They went out, they got Van Vliet and Dylan Brooks. They still have their young players. They surrounded them with some vets so that you can win. You can learn how to win in this league. Houston is over 500. I couldn't believe it.
Detroit vet is Alec Burks and
Boyan.
Yeah.
Houston is in the play-in if it ended today, 13-12.
Yep.
Golden State wouldn't even be in the 13-14.
But that
wouldn't hurt my feelings if the Warriors missed the playoffs, the play-in. Wouldn't hurt my feelings at all.
No, mine either.
The Suns, the Suns 14-13. I'm looking at the standings now.
Mm-hmm.
Ja's back, so Memphis is going to shoot up a little bit. You know that.
Yes.
But
yeah, Lakers 15-13. They lost 3 straight. Houston lost 3 straight, and they still 1 game over 500. They've been playing well.
Yeah.
So you always want to mix in some, because I remember we had this conversation a few years back. Oh, we got the vets taking up the room. Just let the young guys play. You don't want them to learn how to lose. You want them to learn how to win. Sprinkle some vets in there.
We need more vets on this squad.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about it, that's the difference between the Rockets and the Pistons. Is the vets. They both have a team full of lottery picks. They both have arguably very good coaches.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the vets, man.
It's the vets, and I agree with you, Jeff. We talking about getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. We still got players who have to get more playoff experience. You know, I mean, Quick wasn't that great his rookie year, and you could give him a pass. He wasn't that great this past year. If you include the in-season tournament games, some people do, some people don't. He wasn't that great, you know. So we trying to get far, but do you have the players who can operate in that environment? We don't know.
Our entire rotation is under 30 years old.
Wow.
Our entire rotation, like they're all young.
Youngest team in the playoffs last year.
Julius Randle is our oldest player.
Wow.
Rotation player.
Well, that
rotation player.
Rotation player. I mean,
right.
You know, R.I.P. Evan Fournier.
Damn, Jeff.
Yeah. All right, we really out of here this time.
Yeah, man.
Happy holidays. I might do a pop-up. I'll probably do a pop-up before the next week's show. Until next time.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?